Greetings and salutations, friends, and welcome to the long-awaited and teased Arch and Sargon podcast. Sargon, how are you today?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
I am fantastic. I've been looking forward to this.
Yeah, me too.
What I was not expecting, however, was that the very day we started doing this, Elon Musk and Asmongold decided to declare war on one another.
How are you? I know.
Fantastic.
What a peculiar turn of events. Well, I mean, did Asmongold even declare war on Elon Musk? I thought his criticism was relatively tepid.
The very day we started doing this, Echo. Sort of. What was it? He said that if Elon could prove that the top-rated Path of Exile account was his, he'd stream on Twitch for a full year. And
was it Twitch or Twitter?
Twitter, excuse me, yes.
Just checking.
And apparently this was perceived as like an insult that Elon wasn't a real gamer.
Yeah.
And Elon took that really badly, and he even leaked his DMs recently.
Yeah. And none of this covered Elon in glory. And
no.
I don't really understand why he did it.
I have no idea, because it comes across as so unfathomably petty.
Yeah, very, very sensitive. And like, I don't understand why Elon would be bothered about this, because, I mean, you know, he's, I think, 52, he's a dad, he's the richest man in the world.
Yeah.
He runs some of the most successful companies in the world.
He owns a fucking spaceship, multiple.
Yeah, he's on the regular, firing rockets into space. He is the most followed man in the world. And so no one reasonably expects Elon to have the time to be like the world's greatest video game player as well, right? Like no one thinks Elon Musk is a failure in any way if he's not also the top-rated Path of Exile player. So why would this be something he'd get sensitive about?
I have no idea, because the thing is too, he's also like proven to be one of the top Diablo 4 players in the world, so
Right. So why not just shrug it off?
I don't even know. And there was also the thing he put out that Asmongold is a fake gamer as well. So what was he said here? Asmon is good at caustic commentary and making fun of people. He is not good at video games. Like, Asmongold too has like dozens of super achievements.
Yeah, well, yeah, I know. Like, and all Asmongold does is stream video games. So, you know, and it's just like, okay, well, I mean, I'm like, it not being like, because the allegation is that Elon Musk is paying someone to run his Path of Exile account, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which he might. And the thing is, like, I suck at video games. I enjoy playing them for me to relax after I've been working all day. I know I'm not going to be the world's greatest gamer, and so I play them in the way that I like to make sure that I'm getting the most out of it. Elon could just literally say exactly that, because I mean, I know he came under a lot of criticism for his Elden Ring gameplay a while back, because people were like, your heavy armor build sucks, blah blah blah. I don't know, I don't play Elden Ring, so I don't know what the meat of the criticism is. But it's like, okay, well, I mean, let's assume that's true. Let's assume his build sucks, right? Okay, so what? He's, you know, a very successful person who's obviously really busy all day, running his companies and doing whatever he does.
Exploring space.
Yeah, exploring space. Yeah, getting man to Mars, you know. So, you know, kind of a toothless critique, I would have said. But two, he could, rather than taking that personally, you could just shrug that off and say, well, yeah, I mean, I often play shit builds in games because I want to make it work, not because I think it's the best build, right? Because I actually really like taking a build that isn't very good, known to not be very good, and making it better than it is expected to be. So, For me, I like these little challenges, right? An example that springs to mind is in the game BattleTech. I play regularly on my little pondering channel. I really like the mech, the Battlemaster. Now, the Battlemaster isn't really the world's greatest mech. It's kind of hamstrung by the fact that its engine is too big and for its size, and this means it has to essentially use quite small weapons for its size, but it's a very aggressive mech. And so I like using it because if you do play with it right, it does work, but it's easy to play with it wrong. And so I tried to make sure that I'm using it correctly to make it work, right? Blah, blah, blah. Now, this is the sort of thing that Elon could have just answered with. It's like, yeah, I just like making something that's not great work for me, like with the heavy armor in Elden Ring or whatever it was. So it's just like, why get sensitive about it? Like, just shrug it off, bro.
It's weird. And I also get the critique that the people were levied against him. It's like, it's not that he wasn't the best in the world, it's that he faked it. It's like, okay, I see that, because it's also like, why would you fake that? Like, this, in the grand scheme of things, being a top PoE 2 player is frankly relatively insignificant compared to the rest of the stuff that Musk has done.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. It's like, yeah. I mean, and the thing is, just say, yeah, well, I paid some guy to get the account to here because obviously I was off exploring space and you were busy playing Path of Exile and grinding because you can't pay someone to do it and explore space. So that's the difference between us, I guess, Just shrug it off.
And there was also apparently, I don't know about this because he's got the blue check mark now, but there was some nonsense about his check mark being removed, or maybe he had like a yellow one.
Apparently, yeah, Elon apparently took away his check mark temporarily. Again, I can't confirm that, so I don't know. But this is Asmongold did go without a check mark for a while, and so that does seem very petty if true.
It's this whole thing is just so goddamn weird.
Yeah. Very peculiar.
It's like it almost I'm almost gonna activate conspiracy brain here and say that this is both of them like getting more attention to themselves, but it's one of the world's largest streamer and the world's richest man, so I feel like they didn't need it.
Yeah, I don't feel they need it. Yeah, I mean, Asmongold didn't react as if that's what was happening either. Asmongold reacted surprisingly well, actually. I mean, like, the leaking the DMs, it's like, okay, but like, Elon obviously misinterpreted what Asmongold had said, and
yes.
this was a very weird decision to just suddenly go on the attack. Well, it's like, Asmongold is actually controlled opposition from someone, because for anyone who's wondering, Asmongold had in this conversation, Asmongold had basically asked, like, what did he say exactly? It was like something like, he'd get his editors to do something.
Yeah, I brought it up on screen now, and it comes across as if Elon misread it in rage, almost.
Yeah. Let me find it, because I haven't actually got it on screen. Right, yeah. So he said, Asmongold says, I'm going to see if my editors might want to make a second account for it. Don't know what they're talking about, right? And Elon says, sure. Who are these mysterious editors? Now, I think what Elon has done is think editor as in the way that journalists have editors.
Yes.
Which is they will have someone who is editorializing for them.
Yes.
As in they will give them an editorial line. If you're working for like the Washington Post or something, you'll be like, no, you have to toe this line. What Asmongold is talking about are people he employs to cut up his streams.
Yes.
And then put it on the internet.
Exactly. That's what he's saying here, because he's mainly a streamer and he doesn't give a shit about YouTube. So he just has a couple of guys, as he says, and they share the YouTube ad revenue and they go through his stream and cut it up.
Yep. It's the most normal thing for a big Twitch streamer to do, and Elon seems to have misinterpreted this as being the mysterious editors. And, obviously Asmongold just names them. He's obviously just like, well, it's these two guys.
Because it's just a dude cutting up his streams.
Yeah, because to Asmongold, there is no thought in his mind that anyone would interpret it that these guys control him. And then Elon literally calls him controlled opposition or whatever it is. He's not an independent man. He's controlled. It's like, oh no, Elon, that's not what that means, bro. You've totally misinterpreted that.
It comes across as a misinterpretation driven by like anger.
Yeah. He came across very angry and uncharitable and unfair. And it's like, why? Because I mean, like, it's natural that Asmongold would ask for evidence of this, and if of your streaming or your video game bona fides, if you're the world's richest man. And why wouldn't Elon just be like, okay, well, look, I'll stream it and you can talk to me and tell me where to go and what to do, blah, 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 right? Like, why wouldn't he do that? Why would he get very defensive? And so a lot of people are like, oh, right, Elon is basically a fake gamer. And Elon hasn't really given them reason to think otherwise.
Yeah. And the larger problematic implications of this is, of course, that if he gets this weirdly upset, this weirdly aggressive, and supposedly removes the check mark and like deboosts an account,
petty,
over an accusation of cheating at video games, holy shit, what'll happen if he gets actual pushback?
Yeah, and like I mean, we saw his kind of temper with the H-1B visa thing, which wasn't great, frankly, and all of this feels like a massive unforced error. Because I mean, if I were Elon, I'd just be like, well, I want to play at the high levels, but I haven't got the time to do it, so I've got XYZ to do it for me, so I can just log in when I've got the time and play. And no one would be like, yeah, Elon doesn't have gamer credit, because there's no reason for him to like genuflect this direction unless he actually meant it. Like, there's nothing really to be gained by saying, I'm a great gamer. Like, what the hell does he gain out of this? It's like, okay, well, who cares? Does Trump care? Does Jeff Bezos care? Do any of the other billionaires care? No, right? This is just like people like Asmongold who care, right? So, like, there's no reason. There's not really much to be gained from lying about this sort of thing. And to be honest with you, it would have been perfectly respectable if he'd just said, yeah, well, I don't have time to become like the world's greatest gamer, obviously, but I want to play at a high level. So I'm just going to buy my way into it. And everyone's like, well, he's the richest man in the world. That makes sense. I'd do the same.
Yeah, he doesn't have time to grind for 72 hours to get the gear he needs to do the world record run. I know.
Weird. I can't believe it. Fake game. Because the thing is, this doesn't mark Elon out as a fake gamer. I don't think he is a fake gamer. I'm sure he does enjoy video games.
I mean, the very fact that he's responding this aggressively to an accusation of cheating in games shows he takes it pretty seriously.
Yeah, there's no reason to think he is a fake gamer. But the question is, why is he this bothered about it? Why has he got a sort of fragile ego about it,
Yeah, and you then also have to add in, okay, he's now got a direct line to the president, whom he helped get elected. He's in charge of one of the...
Gone to jail.
Yeah, and he's owner of the largest social media platform on Earth right now, and he's going to direct policy, and he's spurging out over something this petty. It's a little scary.
It's totally unnecessary. It's such an unforced error, and there's just no reason for it. Like, there's just no reason that he needs to be insecure about this. Like, it's okay, Elon, to like, buy your way into the end of the game. It's fine, mate. Like, I don't know.
I'm worried for Elon Musk's free speech, street cred over all of this.
Well, me too. And, I'm worried. Honestly, I'm kind of worried about his mental health, right? I don't want to sound patronizing, but I've been thinking about this for a while now, and it's not normal to have 200 million plus people follow everything you do, right? It's not normal to be in the eye of that storm all the time and have non-stop hit pieces written on you by the media, blah blah blah. There's no analog for this in history, like no king in all of history ever had the amount of scrutiny that Elon has on a daily basis, right? Like, the height of the Roman Empire, there was something like 65 million people in it, And it's like, okay, and then the emperor didn't really have to account to any of them, and those people were mad. Like loads of emperors throughout history have been totally mad with the position that they've found themselves in. And so Elon has found himself in a position that is way bigger and way more weird than any of those people. And I do wonder if this isn't a consequence of having this much stress on you, to be honest.
Yeah. And I mean, he tweets like every 10 minutes.
Yeah, that's another point. It's like you probably don't want to be on Twitter as much as you are, mate, to be honest.
It's a crazy world where we can see our Roman emperor go crazy right before our very eyes.
Yeah, and I just want to be clear as well. I am a fan of Elon Musk. I like Elon Musk on a personal level. I think he's the kind of guy I would have hung out with, in university and stuff like this. Like I feel like I've got quite a lot in common with him culturally, So, and he's personally helped me out by restoring my Twitter account, and I'm very glad that he does what he does. I'm very glad he was tweeting about the grooming gangs. Oh my God, that was a shit show for the UK establishment. Amazing, love it. I've been praising that. He has done a lot that I've been praising him over for a long time, and so it's weird seeing him fall into these sort of like unnecessary pit traps. I don't want to see him fuck up and like find himself in a position that's difficult. I want him to do very well because I think he is doing great stuff. So I'm not criticizing from a position of like hatred or bitterness or anything like that. I'm a big fan.
Yep. And I mean, hopefully, all of this is just a case of autism meets autism.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think Asmongold handled it really well.
Oh, yeah. Asmongold came out of this fucking sparkling.
Yeah, really, really gentlemanly, frankly.
Oh, yeah.
Honestly, I've never watched any of Asmongold's streams because I haven't got time to watch streams. But I've seen clips of him going around, and generally I quite like Asmongold. He seems like a nice chap. And he handled this with real flair. And I was like, oh, well done, mate.
Yeah, he seems like a genuinely excellent man. Very much so on like the fringes of the cultural nonsense that's going on.
Yeah.
But he just got attacked by the world's largest goddamn Twitter account, and he shone through it. So good job.
He did. Yeah, very good.
Right, let me do a few of the super chats, then we'll watch today's video, which is, if it'll stay goddamn loaded, the developer, one of the creators of Fallout, talking about if gamers know what they want or not. I think this will be interesting.
Yes.
Let's see. All right. Dr. Martin Luther Pepe for 50 Swedish kroners. Podcast ved Stanford Brewer. 1066.
I can guess what that means.
I tried to argue the case for naming it Stanford Bridge, but Sargon said it was too niche.
It is far too niche. No one's gonna get it.
I don't know. We could establish it. Goddammit, everyone would understand.
I should have said yes because it was an English victory.
Victory. Ambushing a bunch of unarmed Norwegians.
Oh, yeah, just innocent Norwegians just wandering through the woods, not doing any harm to anyone. Oh, yeah.
Chat, like the video for the Norwegian sacrifices that day. You were just upset that the Vikings bathed more often than you.
I'm more upset about the bloody Normans, to be honest.
Well, Vikings, but different kind.
French Vikings, the worst kind.
Unironically, yes. They were the guys who arrived in France, and the French were like, hey, would you settle along the coast to protect us from more of your people? They were literally the race traitors.
And the thing is, as well, a lot of people don't know much about Harold Hardrada, but Harold Hardrada had an amazing life. Absolutely incredible. He was a very exciting character, and it's kind of a sad end to his life, where it's like, okay, so he just turns up and gets whacked by surprise by Harold Godwinson. It's like, well, bad luck, bad timing. Better luck next time.
Oh, yeah, and he was a badass. He was a Varangarian god.
Yep. He campaigned in Sicily, where he was known to be clever and tricky, and yeah, so it's kind of a sad ending, to be honest, to what was otherwise a very heroic and exciting life. Like, it's genuinely recommend. Like we've got an epochs on Load Seaters. It's really good.
Yep. But at the same time also, though, like, it was an excellent move by the English to hit them when they were unprepared. Like, you gotta remember, too, it is hard to move that amount of men secretively, particularly back then.
Yeah, on foot.
Mm-hmm.
Ignorant slut.
That's an interesting story. Zero, stocked up on a few bags of sand in preparation.
Sand?
What? We can set fire to something? Ah, that reminds me. Okay, another slight deviation. This.
Guarantees citizenship.
Where am I looking here, by the way?
All right, so the in the Discord room, I'm streaming my screen there.
Right. Okay.
So this is a case of left wing. This was the last cartoon Darren Bell, left-wing cartoonist, drew before being arrested for possessing 134 videos of child porn.
Incredible. Again, with every leftist, it's literally just the ticking clock. Every single time.
Oh, and the timing, too. He's like, look at those evil Republicans politicizing the fires. Like, sir, you're being arrested for child porn.
No, there was an even better one. There was one where it was like a MAGA guy saying, "Oh, you're a groomer," and then the other half of his face was a Nazi saying it in German, and it's like, so it's in English and in the original German, and it's like, yeah, that's great, but you are also going to jail for being a nonce.
Yeah.
It's literally, reset the clock, chat. Exactly, reset the clock.
And again, this appears by all accounts to be real. It's reported by the NBC, so these are authoritative sources.
Yeah. It's not like Newsmax or something writing this. No. And this is being done under the Biden administration as well. So don't even know what to tell you. It's not even Trump persecuting a political enemy or something like that. No.
It's his enemy persecuting himself.
Yeah, this is your boy being a child nonce. So, a child molesting nonce. So, don't know what to tell you. Sorry. Bad luck.
And again, it's just the richness of the irony of like, oh, hey, the Hollywood district are burning down. Or don't you feel bad? As the man is being dragged away, his computer confiscated.
Heresy's the question. Fire.
Indeed it is. So yeah, that's honestly though, I think that's good. I think good when leftist nonsense go to jail. I think that's always productive and good news for anyone who wants leftist nonsense in jail.
Absolutely, rarely bad news.
Yeah.
Hexy, Sargon, what is your opinion on Ruby Ridge? No reason.
So a couple of people have asked me this recently, and I guess there's something going on that I don't know about, because I don't know anything about Ruby Ridge. Like, as I understand it, it's going to be, it's something like Waco, right?
Yes.
Right. Now, I'll be honest, I don't know anything about Waco either. I know that they happened, obviously, but I don't know any of the details. So I couldn't tell you who was involved, who the good or bad guys are, or anything like that. I'm really sorry. I'm sure though, this is going to be something to do with Short Fat Taco.
Yes.
And I'm also sure that he's on the government side. So I'm against the government. Now I hope the people that I'm siding with aren't evil, right?
Correct on both points.
Oh, I'm just teasing, Dev. I'm just teasing. I'm sure that it was completely justified for the government to kill a bunch of its own citizens. It's totally justified, bro. No, I'm just, like I said, I don't know. I really don't know.
This is one of those, if you look at it for long enough, Dev's argument begins to make sense, because it's basically like, does the government have infinite responsibility even when people start shooting at them? It's like, okay, I'm seeing your point, Dev, but you are literally like anti-optics.
But also, didn't like I saw people commenting on this. So that's why I know anything about it. Right? I didn't even open up the Wikipedia page, but I saw people saying, "Well, the government killed the children they were trying to save."
I don't know about.
Is that
Ruby
correct,
Ridge.
chat?
I know that was in Waco. I think they killed pretty much everyone there.
Right. Like I said, I didn't even open the Wikipedia page because I was just like, I don't care. They shot first and admitted they were wrong. Yes, they did. Right. See, there we go.
Yeah.
So yeah, the government needs to save those kids by any means necessary, even if that means killing them.
Yeah, that was referring to Waco, by the way, too, because I know
Oh,
fucking nothing about Ruby Ridge.
Yeah, I like I said, I don't know, and I didn't even look it up on Wikipedia. So,
And all I
couldn't
know
tell you.
about Waco is that they brought in fucking main battle tanks to deal with the civvies.
Mental,
Which
Absolutely
looks so
mental.
bad. Like, there are pictures of the burning compound with an Abrams in the foreground. Like, Jesus, did you
Jesus.
need that?
Yeah, the U.S. government, man, fucking mental. Yeah, I mean, are you on the government side? My default is no. Now, what are we talking about?
Counterstructure, title name, The Philosopher and the Bridge. Mm.
Which one of us is the bridge?
I'm the bridge. I'm the bridge
Oh,
god.
okay. Oh yeah, of course, Arch. Yeah, good point. I'm not a very good philosopher.
I have
The real Zartax, Trump, we need an internet bill of rights. Musk, hold my beer.
Yeah, I mean, Elon just needs to not worry about stuff so much. He really just needs to log off every now and again. Like he's definitely on Twitter too much, and like the thing is he's in sort of Twitter war mode, and I know what it's like because I've been there before, and you do end up essentially making a fool of yourself. You've got to basically just relax and enjoy Twitter. If you start arguing with people and think that your reputation's at stake and stuff like that, then you'll end up ruining it. But if you just chill out, like a bunch of the lefties the other day, because I posted a picture of a steak that I cooked for myself that I enjoyed.
I saw that.
Yeah. They've been screeching for weeks, and I'm just like, I literally don't care. I made it to the specifications I wanted, and it's okay if you don't enjoy that. It's totally fine. It's my steak. I'm going to eat it the way I want it. Now, there's a lot of like steak supremacists, like high steak conservatives in the homosexual community on Twitter. Weirdly, a lot of people with pride flags in their bios have been very conservative about how you're allowed to cook a steak. And so I'm just going to apply subversive leftist methods to my steak cooking philosophy and have it how I like it.
And also some of the replies, like this guy, like, come on, how can you be talking about slop when you eat this? Like, this isn't slop.
No,
don't-
every ingredient was highly differentiated. What he means is this was badly cooked, and I'm willing to cop to that. Like I've got a very working class sense of taste.
Service guarantees citizenship.
I
Well,
don't.
yeah,
I
but
didn't grow up
that's
on
also
fancy
the
foods.
thing, like, because I'm a goddamn Norwegian. Half of my meals are potatoes and meat. Like,
Yeah.
sure, but I
like
enjoy
it.
potatoes and meat.
Yeah, exactly. I enjoy these things. And so the fact that they're getting so het up, it's like, okay, look, you prissy San Francisco homosexuals, like, I don't care that you don't like it. Like, it literally means that. And so, like, if all they're going to do is whine about my cooking and my taste in food, then for me, that's just engagement farming. For me, it's just, I'm going, the next time I cook a steak, I'm going to put it on Twitter and I'm going to tag the workwear guy, the menswear guy. I can't remember his name now. What's his name? I can't remember. Okay, I can't remember his name, but I'm going to tag him and be like, "This is my steak. I'm going to cook it, and there's nothing you can do to stop me." Like, there's nothing you can do to stop me. And he'll retweet it. I'll get millions of impressions, and they'll all be like, "Ah, he likes the steak." And I'm like, "Yes, I do. Now what?" Like it. Anyway, basically, monetize your haters. That's all I'm saying.
Yep, no. Takes about food are weirdly popular.
Yeah, and very conservative. They're very strict. Like they're happy to put literally anything in their rear ends, but if you put a well-cooked steak into your mouth, my God.
Isn't that going? Okay, so one tweet about the chick who had sex with 100 guys.
Ugh.
Weird. 10,000 impressions. Okay, not bad. Me looking at biscuits and gravy and going, I don't want to cover my biscuits and gravy. 50,000 people and 500 people yelling angrily at me.
Right, so American biscuits and gravy is not what we would consider biscuits or gravy to be, right? I've struggled with this as well. I think it's some sort of cream sauce over scones, basically.
Possibly. All I know is that I am physically repulsed by like the chunky sauce and the biscuits.
It looks like vomit.
It does. Like dog vomit. It's terrible.
Yeah, like cat vomit or something like that. Like it looks horrific, but it's not what we think of when we say the words biscuits and gravy. The Americans are. I mean, it's just very weird. But and the thing is, I don't even know if it tastes good or not. But I just don't like the look of it.
You know, I wouldn't even eat it. It looks like somebody has milked a cat through the mouth over it. It's like,
it honestly does. Sorry, Americans. And like I said, you know, you feel free to come down on our food. You know, the sort of Northwest European Protestant food is not the world's richest food or anything. We understand. You know, like we totally understand. But just saying.
Listen, Americans, I understand the Norwegian, the cabaret, the gelatinous cube of fucking meat and vegetables is not.
Post as many pictures of beans on toast as you need to. That's fine. I'm totally good with it. You know, just saying.
Yep, but Americans are still very wrong about their cuisine.
Yeah. Although, just as a quick aside, right? So. I saw a thing about, do you remember that Super Size Me documentary?
Yes.
So for years, absolute years, I've been going to McDonald's, going to Burger King, and like been thinking, how can this actually be as bad as it's claimed to be? Because I watched that documentary years ago, and I was, this was before like Wikipedia existed. So I never checked it out afterwards, obviously. And I just remember thinking, okay, what am I actually eating at McDonald's, right? Or a Burger King? Like, okay, it's a burger, it's got lettuce, it's got beef, and it seems to be basically really good quality beef as well. If you think about like the McDonald's and Burger King burgers, they're not fatty burgers or anything. And even if they're fatty, that's not bad for you. So it's like, what am I actually eating that's wrong here? Like when you eat a Whopper, okay, it's got some mayonnaise in it. Okay, great. The mayonnaise isn't good. But it's tomatoes, onions, lettuce, cheese, beef, 100% beef, and then the burger bun. So that's not an unhealthy meal. Okay, the deep fried chips or French fries, as you call them, like that. Yeah, that's the unhealthy bit. Fair enough. But like the rest of it, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. And then someone, who's it? Pagliacci on Twitter posted about it today, and I looked into it. And if you go to the Wikipedia page, like, because in there he gets like this liver fat problem and stuff like that. And I was like, oh Jesus Christ, okay, there must be something really wrong with these. No, it turns out he was an alcoholic and he was drinking non-stop, like binge drinking throughout this entire thing. And it's like, right, so it's probably more related to the alcohol he's consuming.
Yep. And this received a lot of backlash, but too late, because this became one of like the first viral
it did.
Organically created propaganda pieces.
Yep.
We watched this in my school class to basically be like, oh my God, the terrible Americans, look what they're doing.
Yep. But actually, and there are people in the chat being like, look, the burgers aren't that great. So yeah, but they're not that bad either, right?
Because you got to remember as well, think of this relativistically. We are currently in an era where eating beef is considered just like, oh yeah, it's just a regular meal. Like, holy shit. Like, relatively speaking, McDonald's is very good food. It's just that our standard of what is good food has increased so drastically over the last 100 years that it would be irrecognizable to anyone else.
Yeah. The problem really is probably the preservatives, but even then, they're not like a dietary issue. You know, that's not going to give you like fatty liver, probably, I don't think. Oh. You know, there's going to be like other weird things, but like, people are saying, like, apparently they are like 100% beef. Like, that's apparently true. You know, I'm looking at it now. I'm Googling it now. You know, so, you know, I don't know. Like, just saying.
It's the same along with the line of the Michael Moore movies, which also became enormous propaganda hits, basically.
Yeah. Michael Moore is the worst shitlib in the world as well.
Oh, yeah.
Like, absolutely the fucking worst.
Being young is thinking America's the villain. Becoming an adult is realizing that America's the hero.
Being an adult is realizing Michael Moore is the villain. I'm not even joking on that, to be honest.
No, straight up.
The shitlib moralizers, they're the villains, man. So sick of them. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that McDonald's is good, right? I'm not saying you should. I very rarely eat McDonald's or Burger King, and I prefer Burger King, to be honest. But they're really not as bad as these sort of propaganda documentaries we're making out. It's just not the case. And so it's just like, okay, well, I think truth matters, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I have yet to be in a McDonald's where my shoes haven't stuck to the floor. I'm not claiming that they're premium burgers, but
I'm not saying they did nothing wrong. Yeah, but Burger King are a lot better, obviously.
Dalton, 79 1000. Sargon and Arch join forces, form Devastator. Yes.
Yeah, why not?
Mark to shame. Somehow Acadia returned. Nick's GW will reveal that Ursula Creed is Horus's great-great-great-great-great-granddaughter. Have you seen Ursula Creed?
No.
So they killed off Usaka E. Creed, and they replaced him with his granddaughter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Who's a chunky-looking, angry aunt.
She's plus size, yeah.
Yep.
Because obviously people in the Imperium become plus size very easily.
Particularly people on Cadia. There's not a strict physical regime implemented there.
What do you mean on Cadia? I thought Cadia was destroyed.
True, but she's from Cadia.
Right. Okay. How long ago in the timeline was Cadia destroyed?
Current timeline? Like 1,000 years ago.
Right. Okay.
Because they did like a 1,000-year time skip or something with the Crusade.
Yeah. So I mean, like, at what point do we stop saying that these people are from Cadia?
I don't know. I think is Ursula.
If your country was destroyed 1,000 years ago, and you spent 1,000 years on another planet, I think you'd say you're from that other planet at this point.
Quite possibly. But that's
New
GW's
Cadia,
problem.
if you want,
They blew up the world that produces 98% of their guard kits.
Ah, right, yeah. Yeah, that's true. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like the Cadians as well. There's nothing wrong with them or anything like that. It's just saying.
Brandon for $20. Sargon, thank God you're here. Arch has been going down the Force route.
You have not, have you?
He's got a pony zona and explain how to pleasure horses to the next detail
fucking really? Podcast. That is disgusting, Arch.
Chow's bringing this up because I was telling them about the incident where the last horse brothel closed in Washington in 2005.
Yeah.
Chat is spreading spurious lies.
Mm-hmm.
A reality backhand. A stream without Dev. The only way the Anglo cast could get any better is if Sargon debated Arch's pet VTuber.
Well, I mean, I would happily stream with Dev anytime. I still I know everyone's had like a rough time with Dev, and I think Dev's having a rough time trying to figure out where he fits in the sort of new political order. But I personally think Dev is a good guy, and I don't like bad talking my friends.
Yeah, so I make fun of him as a friendly, funny way because I myself have been backstabbed by plenty of people, so it'll take a lot to get me to disassociate with a friend.
Oh, exactly. And I realize at the moment Dev's still kind of angry with me, and it's fine. I've apologized to him and stuff, but I'm not going to start, backstabbing him or anything like that, because that's happened to me plenty of times, and I don't like it. And look, I realize, chat, that a lot of people are angry with him, but I'm not gonna play into it. Sorry.
Draken, well, you must keep your word. You win Discordia. Go for Discordia.
Yeah, another win. Average Discordia win.
Zartak, it's not about his build, Sargon, it's that he doesn't know what he's doing, whilst his account is amazing, clearly piloted gaming stolen valor.
Yeah, that is true, but I don't know why he needs to do that.
Yeah. The reason why is the...
Yeah, like I just don't understand why he would feel the need to do that.
I mean, I suppose it takes a certain amount of ego and belief in oneself to, start launching rockets to Mars, so...
Yeah, but why do you need to compensate in gaming?
Oh.
Like just be like, yeah, no, I send stuff to Mars. Yeah, play for fun. I don't need to be the world's greatest gamer because I'm the world's best space explorer. Like
the Dodger UK, my two fav podcasts in one. It's good to hear.
Oh, that is good to hear.
Ben Burnson, so many suggestions seem to settle on this name. Listen, I tried. Sargon shot down all the other ones.
Well, yeah. I mean, chat, if you've got any good ideas for a name for a sort of regular podcast for us, I'm open to hearing them.
Yep, there you go. And Steel Manning, the correct response for Elon is 1v1 me, bro. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
Asmongold should have said that.
I mean, holy shit, screw the whole celebrity boxing matches. A 1v1 with Asmongold and Elon Musk.
That'd be great. I'd watch that.
Yep. And best of 3. That would be fantastic.
Oof. What game, though? What, on Path of Exile? Does Asmongold play that? I don't know.
They should do all 3. Like, get the max level characters in like a month to practice in Diablo 4, Path of Exile, and Warcraft. So all of them get to play on their strengths.
Yeah, but I mean, Asmongold's like an expert on Warcraft.
Yeah, but Musk is an expert in Diablo, so...
Well, good point. Good point.
Notoriana, has there ever been leaders in history who have been called out for hiring someone to play chess for them or something? And what was their reaction?
Weirdly, I'm not actually aware of any.
If it does happen, it probably happened in India, because chess was huge there for like 200 years.
Right.
But,
Yeah, I'm not aware of it.
I can't remember, no. I mean, it wasn't even called... It used to be the standard. Like, kings used to participate in joust tourneys, and everyone would just be like, nope, that's the king. I'm not riding against you. Fuck. If I accidentally kill your ass, I am dead.
Yep.
So I guess you could call that a form of cheating, but...
Yeah.
All right. Let's finally actually get to this video, I guess.
Yeah.
So if this works the way it should, we should both be able to press the pause button and the play button.
Heresy's the question.
Okay.
Fire.
And we should be able to hear it. I hope.
Well, I tell you, rather than letting me fuck it up, I'll just ask you to pause it. How's that?
All right.
Because I am somewhat of a boomer when it comes to technology, so...
It's me, Tim. Today I want to talk about, do devs know what gamers want?
Okay, look, we can stop it right there. The answer is obviously no, right?
Demonstrably.
It's a very, and the thing is, I think a lot of the problem is that the people who are making the games are not actually people who play games themselves, right? They genuinely seem to not actually want to make games they want to play, because these are massive businesses now. They're spending like $100 million on a game. It's like, look, you're not spending $100 million on the kind of game you want to play. Like, Notch is currently in the middle of making some quirky little indie game that'll probably make him another $4 billion, because it'll probably be fun, right? And it'll get really, really popular, because it'll be a fun thing that just does something unusual that people would like to do, which is what Minecraft literally is. And he'll make another $4 billion or whatever, selling it to Microsoft or whatever. And then it'll become a massive thing that is just, miles away from he is. But the motivation for making it was, oh, this seems like it'd be entertaining to me, right? None of them make games for that reason.
Yep, and we'll see if Notch's program gets off the ground, because he did say, I basically announced Minecraft 2, etc.
Right.
I guarantee you, right now, about 5,000 Microsoft lawyers are sharpening every fucking tool and instrument they can get their hands on.
Yeah, probably.
Because they are going to be threatened by this. I guarantee you, they put a lot of money into Minecraft. It's one of their biggest cash cows.
They literally put billions into it.
Yeah, the very suggestion that he's working on is something even similar is going to have them up in arms.
The thing is, though, he is legally allowed to do that. I mean, there's nothing stopping him from making his own kind of little game that's kind of like a sequel to Minecraft. You can do that as long as you don't brand it as Minecraft, but easy enough, not done, you know?
I mean, even basically saying this on Twitter, I think, was a massive mistake, but we'll see.
Yeah, quite possibly.
All right.
This video is a direct follow-up to my video last week, Do Gamers Know What They Like? Before I made that video, I just mentioned I was going to do it in a comment section almost 2 months ago. And Lyre Noir said, personally, I think Do Devs Know What Gamers Want is even a better question. And you know what? They're right. So both that video, so I made that video and then I made this one pretty soon afterwards. Keep in mind, these were made back in November. Not even that late November, kind of mid-November. So I don't know what the comments were on that other one, and I have no idea what the comments are going to be on this one. But I think it's better that way because I want to give you the raw, unfiltered response to Do Devs Know What Gamers Want? And here it is. No. No, we don't know what you want.
Well, at least he's on the same side.
Heresy's the question. Fire is
What are
the
you
answer.
doing then, bros? You know, like, it's so weird. It's like being like, right, okay, I run a restaurant. It's like, okay, what food do people like? Don't know. No idea. But I'm going to keep making food until they eat it. And then people are like, yeah, but we don't want to eat this. We want to eat the thing that you used to make. I'm like, no, I'm making a new thing now.
Heresy's
I just
the
feel like it.
question.
It's like, but can't you
Fire
just
is
make the old thing
answer.
that I like?
And no appears to be the answer.
Yeah.
Because that isn't feedback enough, as he'll get to.
We have no idea, seriously, what you want. I almost did this as a short. I was just going to do a short and go, do devs know what gamers want? Nope. And then cut it off. You can stop here if you want to.
Seriously, like, why even exist then? Like, why do you do what you do? Do something else. Because, like, if you don't know why people aren't happy with the games you're making or what people it is who want, you don't have any passion for this, right? You don't want to be doing this if that's the case. So why are you even here? Like, why are we even talking to you? Why do you even exist in this space?
Well, this thing, I think this is someone who used to know. Because, I mean, he created stuff like Fallout, and he happens across a very interesting point later on, where he basically says that they just used to make what they wanted to make.
Yeah.
And that, absurdly enough, is the answer to his own question. So, do devs know what player want? No, okay. That's because you're not making what you want to make anymore.
Yeah. Don't make games for other people. Make games that you would like to see.
Yeah.
And if they, you know, and that's how you know you're tapping into something that's going to be good.
Yeah, and if you are an actual gamer, you will then probably like things that gamers like, and thus, there you go.
But other people will be like, yeah, that looks like fun. I want to play that. And, you know, that's how you get a good game. That's how you sell something.
Uh-huh.
Do you know why it is we're so absolutely confused about what it is you want? Keep watching. Because I know some of you are like, it's stupid. We know what you should know what we want. We don't. Here's the longer answer. And it's all kind of can be summed up as because you don't know either. But
Oh, really? Oh, really? That's fascinating. Okay, well, no, hang on, right. So, a couple of things on this. Yeah, okay, I actually, in a way, I kind of agree with him, right? So, you don't know that you want a thing until it exists, and you're like, oh, that's cool, I'd like to play that, right? That's fair, that's true, right? So, stop worrying about it and ask yourself, what is a good game? What would you like to make? What would be good? And make it, and they will come.
Yeah, and it's not like this is some unexplored realm either. It's not like, you know, we introduced the wheel battle from China and everyone's like, that's a really good idea. How the hell didn't we think about it?
Yeah.
We actually know a lot about what gamers want. In fact, it can be summarized quite easily. Good controls, preferably some hot characters, and levels.
But also fun. Like, it's got to be fun. That's all. Just give us a way of having fun. And how, you know, if you guys can't think of how fun can be had, stop trying to mathematically
Heresy's the
calculate
question.
it
Fire
and
is the answer.
just quit your fucking job and go and do something else. Right?
Yeah,
You
'cause-
aren't the guy.
It is so easy to overanalyze this.
Oh, easy.
I remember I was watching a Total Biscuit video like a decade ago now. God, I miss TB, by the way. But
I know you do. I know you were a bigger fan of him than I was. Well, I liked him though. He was alright.
I really liked his review videos because he had a very analytical mind about what makes a good game, and he could somehow be a little bit too analytical. He went into a 30-minute rant over analyzing the concept of fun. It's like, Jesus Christ. We don't know what fun is anymore.
But to be honest, he was right though, wasn't he? Let's be fair.
Yeah, because the thing is, I understand his point. It is difficult for a developer to receive the feedback of make it fun and go like, okay, but what does that mean? Fair enough.
Exactly, you don't know.
But you can't quantify it either. Like there is no 1 plus gun equals fun.
Yeah. And the point being though is that what you're telling me is you're not really someone who wants to play video games, right? That's what you're telling you. You don't want to sit down and do something fun and play this game. So don't make games. You're not the guy anymore. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
But you got to remember, I'm saying the collective you. I wish English had the collective you. Southern English does. Y'all don't know what you want. Let me dive into that. This is a deep dive on why y'all don't even know what you want, which is why we don't know what to give you. First off, many of you only tell developers what you hate. Great. You said what it is you don't want, but what is it you want?
Like this too, though. This is actually solid feedback because all you need to then do is stop doing the thing that the people hate. And you can extrapolate from there.
But even then, I think that it's the wrong question, right? Being like, what do you want is not the right question. Because what you're saying is, I don't have any ideas. Right?
Yeah, and that too is incorrect because there's already the negative feedback. Like, for the last 10 years, people have been complaining about forced politics in gaming, and we're supposed to believe it takes a decade for that feedback to sink in and people to go like, oh, you don't want forced politics in gaming. Shit, we had no idea.
Yeah, but also, like, okay, well, like, I mean, if you have, what did you make? Fallout, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, you can always look at what you've already made and say, okay, why was this successful? Well, and then extrapolate from that. Well, then people must like this, right? So one of the things about the original, I assume it was the original Fallouts he made.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. Now I have a lot of hours in the original Fallouts because I preferred the turn-based ones to the real-time ones, and I played them before the real-time ones even existed. So I happen to, be quite well versed in them. And what I was playing the original Fallouts for was two things, right? I liked the combat system, the sort of autistic tactical system. I like that, right? And also the world itself was very immersive. It was fun. It was intelligent. It was well crafted, as in, it felt like you were genuinely in this very strange post-nuclear, but also post-collapse world where the world is rebuilding itself. Like Callum is a huge fan of Fallout, and he likes it for different reasons to me. He likes what does civilization look like when it's starting to rebuild itself, Whereas I personally quite like the surviving after the collapse bit. But that's another great, that's a great question. What's it like when a civilization has to build itself out of the ashes of the previous one? Great question. Really great question. Why aren't you exploring that? Because one of the things about Fallout 3 is I'm going to go to the super duper mart and find some cans in the thing 200 years after the collapse. Am I really? What are the fucking odds? I can't believe no one else thought about going to the super duper mart and finding some food in there. Bollocks. So obviously that'd be looted to hell.
Yeah, which is like why in most of the other old school Fallout games you don't really find that. No. Rather, you'll find things like the weird tater thingies they have that are grown by mutated farmers, or they eat Brahmin steak.
Yep, iguana on a stick.
Yes.
Yeah, you don't actually find cans of food because they've all gone. They went hundreds of years ago.
And I think this also leans into the passion question, because at one point, this guy sat down and thought, like, oh my god, what would a post-apocalyptic world look like? And then you ask yourself so many questions. How would that work? How would the economy work? How would people live? And that creates a good game. Whereas more recent Fallouts, it's, okay, we have the formula for Fallout, so we're not really going to ask ourselves a whole lot of questions. We're just going to go, okay, well, the player needs guns, ammo, and food, so that's probably in the supermarket.
Well, you know, like the thing is, I'm totally fine. I like that. I like that kind of how do you survive in the during the collapse, right? That's fine. And it's not like Fallout doesn't have that perfect setup. Yeah, it's a like you could literally set one 10 years after the nukes have dropped if you want. Why not? Why not do a Fallout game that's literally 10 years after the nukes have dropped? That sounds great. I'd play that. That'd be new, that'd be different, that'd be interesting. It wouldn't be like the other Fallout games, and you would have that survival roaming around the supermarkets searching for cans element. But you guys obviously want to put into it, so do it. Fucking do it. Why aren't you making that happen?
And I think it's partially because they feel a little bit trapped.
Yeah, probably.
And because it's become too much of a job. Like, that's why they're asking themselves these, like, questions. Like, oh, but can you define what you want? Like, I don't...
Yeah, now, I think it's that. I think it's become a job to them, right? Because in many ways, what this is a kind of cargo cult of the originals, where it's just like, yeah, well, in Fallout, you have war never changes, guys. War never changes. Like, what's that mean? Of course, war has changed. You know, like, now it's just a cargo cult of what the old Fallout was, and these guys have got no way. They don't really understand the underlying essence of the thing, right? Because if you understand the underlying essence of the thing, you can innovate on it. And this is why George Lucas's Star Wars prequels actually built on the universe George Lucas had created, because he understood the essence of the Star Wars. Now, he had executed them poorly, but they've aged very well, because everything since has just been a Star Wars cargo cult. It's like, oh yeah, lightsabers, Force, blah, 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 Yoda, Luke, look at these, member berries. Because they only see the externals. They don't understand the internals.
Yes, that is an excellent point, because back in the day, that was the norm. That was the assumption. The assumption was that everything would be good because one would understand the spirit of a thing and be able to construct upon it. And so we looked at the prequels and thought, well, you know, this isn't that good because it's not as good as the things we had previously seen. But
George
today,
Lucas had got old and fat.
Exactly. But now people look back at it and go like, oh, Jesus Christ, compared to the Disney slop, this is artistic.
Yeah. Like, there is an actual story being told. It was just told in a really shitty way. But at least the Palpatine story is a good story. Like,
yeah, it was poorly executed. Like, there should have been way more focus on Palpatine. Because if you actually think about what he did, it's incredible. He cooled an entire democratic system with nobody noticing.
And with nobody able to mount an opposition to him.
Yeah, not physically, as in like, holy shit, you're a dictator, or like spiritually, or more politically, and like, oh no, this is all really bad. He maneuvered it perfectly.
Yeah, and we've still got some superb lines from it. You know, I love democracy and stuff like that. You know, like, they're still quoted now, even though the film itself was shit and really poorly received in its own day.
This is how democracy dies, to thunderous applause.
It's actually a great line. You know, I don't like sand; it gets everywhere. No, I'm joking. But that's the thing. Like, they don't understand the essence, the spirit of the thing, and so now it's literally just a cargo cult of what it used to be. And it's like, okay, you shouldn't be making anything. You shouldn't be making anything. Move on. Do something else.
Yeah, because Disney Wars is the factory setting, whereas the prequels were still actually the mold being crafted.
Yeah, 100%.
I have an entire video on how to give good feedback, and I'll link it below. But I can just say, when you keep saying, I hate this in games, I hate this feature, I hate these kind of characters and all that, great! What kind of characters do you want? If you hate sarcastic characters, well, guess what? There's an entire realm of non-sarcastic characters. But what is it you want? Do you want funny characters? Do you want serious characters? Do you want characters with a lot of background? Do you characters that with very little, that you don't want to spend a time in a wall of text dialogue? What do you want?
Okay, hang on, right. So this this is exactly emblematic of all of the problem of not just modern gaming, but also modern entertainment entirely, like corporate entertainment, right? We are not the artist. You are the artist. And the artist should be trying to tell us something about the human experience, right? What you are asking for is focus group testing for a product. There's in, are you buying a hammer? Are you buying a screwdriver? Well, what dimensions do you want on the hammer and screwdriver? And it's like, okay, well, yeah, I can give you an answer to that. I can give you a numerical value on that, right? But that's not what this is. That's not what entertainment and art is about, right? You are supposed to be telling us something about the world that you've learned through your experience and transmitting it to us through a medium that we find gripping. If you can't do that, you aren't an artist and you should get a different job.
Because again, this is the manufacturing point of view. What is your order? What is your order for your McDonald's character today? It's like, I don't know, make a good character. You've made good characters before, like the tree guy from Fallout, or the shotgun wedding quest. Like, clearly so just keep doing that.
I want to be told a story, right? And you are approaching this like an engineer. And engineers are not storytellers, and the stories are not engineered. Stories flow. They tell themselves. This is why George R. R. Martin can't finish his stupid series, because he knows what the answer is, but he can't bring himself to fucking do it.
Yeah.
The story tells itself, and you can't do that. If you're asking this question, you are not an artist.
Yeah, because Martin too trapped himself where he was like, I gotta make a grimdark world. Like, I gotta kill Jon Snow. But then he does so, and it's like, well, shit, my entire story's ruined now.
I've just killed the hero. And that's the thing, George, isn't it? You need heroes. Heroes are real and they do exist.
Yeah.
It sucks to be you fat prick.
That's the thing, because he was entrapped by his own audience and style almost there.
His own cynicism.
Yes. So he forced himself to do a thing that he then realized he can't do and have a functioning universe.
Yeah. I hate Tolkien. I hate black and white morality. It's like, yeah, but the thing is, at some point, you have to make a choice between right and wrong, George. At some point, someone has to be the good guy.
Yeah, because he already, oh god, the White Walkers. Holy shit, I loved the idea of the White Walkers. This immiscible evil that cannot live with humanity, that only wishes to wipe all life out of Westeros. A pure invasive force, the other beyond the border. Great, I love it. It's mysterious, it's cool, it's dangerous, but if you have the other beyond the border, you must also have the thing that stops the other beyond the border.
Oh no, not a hero. Not an unambiguously good hero who's done an unambiguously good thing. Can't have that.
Yep. And so instead he crafts a world where, like, okay, all the realms of man are riven asunder and ruled by a whore. Well,
brilliant.
Shit.
Who's
going to fight for Cersei? How can I stop this? Well, I'm just going to have a child stab the fucking undead king in the chest.
That was the worst. And then, like, at the end of it, where Tyrion's like, who has a better story than Bran the Blessed? And I'm just like, what? Anyone has a better story than him.
Well, nobody who's still alive has a better story than him.
Well, yeah. Honestly.
That's the problem when you make a world of villains and you also want to have the external evil.
But notice that we're a million miles away from what this guy is asking us, right? What this guy is asking us is, what speed do you want the mouse rotation of the character to be? That's what he's asking us. What graphic settings do we want? What kind of sound effects? He's not thinking about telling a story. He is thinking about the mechanics of making a game come into being. And it's like, you aren't the guy, bro. That's the thing. If you need to ask these questions, you are not the guy. I'm sorry. And I've got no animus against you. Love some of your previous work. But if these are the questions you're asking, you are not an artist and you don't need to be doing this.
Yeah, and it's an example of fatigue. Like, he's been making clocks for too long and now all he sees is gears and springs.
That's a great metaphor. That is a really great metaphor, because that's exactly what he is saying to us here.
But wait, there's more. Even when you say what you want, you're often extraordinarily vague. You will say, I want a better game. I want better AI. I want a better UI.
I mean, yes, but
Actually, that's very specific.
yeah, that's
That's actually very, very specific. Like, if I was being vague, I'd be like, I want a really immersive game experience. It's like, what does that mean? You know, like, no. If I say I want a better AI, like, you know, if I'm talking to Creative Assembly, that's a very specific request. Like, they know exactly what I mean when I say I want your AI to be better, Creative Assembly. You know, they're not. That's. I mean, honestly, if I was Creative Assembly and I had a focus group and I was like, okay, well, what have the focus group said? And it was just like, well, they think the AI sucks and needs improvement. I'd be like, oh, brilliant. Well, we can just improve the AI then.
yeah, because then there is actually some specific things like, oh, look, the AI doesn't know how to use fucking ladders anymore.
Yeah. The AI can't conduct sieges, or the AI can't flank, or something like this.
Yeah, and the problem there is too, Creative Assembly's solution was not to make the AI better, it was to make sieges dumber.
Yeah, take away the sieges. You only want one wall to your siege, do you? It's like, no.
Yep. And you want all units to have ladders they pull from their fucking sphincters, yes?
No. What? Weirdly, that wasn't what I was asking for. No. Anyway, carry on. Thanks, Creative Assembly.
That is such a perfect example, though, because that is literally what they did. They didn't make the AI better. They made the sieges worse.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, he's like, oh, you're being non-specific. It's like, no, we're being really specific. And then you're asking, well, what is it you want? You're actually asking the broad question here. You're saying, well, you know, essentially, what you're saying is design the game world for me. Design the game, the artistic experience for me, and I will do the mechanical job of putting it together. It's like, okay, why wouldn't I just replace you with AI then?
Mm-hmm.
Why wouldn't I just, when ChatGPT is sufficiently advanced, I'll say, ChatGPT, make me a video game in which I am a man who's walking out of a vault and I've got to explore a radiation blasted wasteland, and it'll just fill it all in with super mutants and deathclaws, and you are completely superfluous because you have reduced your entire job down to a set of mechanics. You know, no longer are you telling me a story that immerses me in an experience to transmit some message from you as a human being to me as a human being.
And the AI will unironically do that better. I tell the AI, make the UI better. It's going to be like, okay, here's 1,000 different options. Pick one.
Yeah. That's exactly what will happen. And it's just like, okay, well, then again, this all comes down to what art is, and are video games art, right? Because there are video games that are art, and there are video games that are not art, right? So there are video games that are not art that are just Skinner boxes, and a Skinner box is just a way of essentially getting a dopamine release by repeating the same pattern of clicks, right? And so you habituate yourself to clicking in a certain way to get a flashing pop-up on the screen that makes you go, the brain lights up with a bit of dopamine. And for stupid and essentially addictive personalities, that's good enough, right? And okay, fine, and that's, I'm not even knocking that. There are going to be people who just get back from a hard day's worth of work where they've, they're like mathematicians or something. I don't know, where they've done something insanely complex and their brain is tired from working. They're just like, I just want some flashy lights, actually, just to run down my brain so I can go to sleep. And so they play like Skinner box game, which is what most mobile phone games are, obviously, where I move here, the screen flashes and I get to go, yay, I got the colorful lights, and then I go to bed. And then there's art, there's storytelling, there is an immersive experience where a person is being given the illusion of a brand new world, a whole different universe, right? And there's a whole, one of the modules on my philosophy degree was aesthetics, and it was the area of philosophy I did the best in because it's the bit I find the most interesting. And the entire philosophy of aesthetics is essentially boils down to creating a shared illusion where both parties go into it knowing that I've created an illusion for you, and you willingly suspend disbelief as Colin would put it, and go in. I think it was Colin. Anyway, go into the illusion, and you accept that the outside world no longer exists for the duration that you're engaged with the illusion, and you play along with the premises. You enjoy the experience, and then when it comes to its natural conclusion, the illusion dissipates, and you say that was brilliant. I had a great time, because it allowing you to engage in the illusion of the entertainment, whether it's a film, whether it's a video game, it simulates in your mind the feeling of having gone through whatever the experience is, which is why, you'll cry during Les Miserables and stuff like this, right? And yeah, immersion is one major aspect of it, chat. And so, but the point is, the creator begins with an intent in mind, right? They're like, I know that I can bring this experience out in other people, that if I craft a particular thing in a particular way, I can bring out an experience in them. And with this experience, I'm telling them something about the human condition. I want them to understand something about being human that they didn't previously understand. And what I'm saying is a million miles away from what this guy's asking. Like, it's a million miles away. So the fact that he's made this video and he's asking these questions, it just shows the paucity of talent, the lack of artists in every creative industry at the moment. Like, Hollywood is exactly the same. You can tell with the Marvel films where they're just churning the slot bucket handle or the meat grinder. Here's another shiny Marvel movie. It's like, okay, but why would I want to watch it? What are you trying to tell me? It's like, there's explosions, there's flashes. You'll enjoy it. Oh, look, they've defeated the bad guys. Like, I knew that was going to happen. Why? And actually, to be honest, Thanos was actually the best bad guy they've had in a long time. By far, because he actually at least had a philosophy, But this is, they're like, Disney is guilty of this. Marvel is guilty of this. DC have no idea what they're doing with Superman. They don't know why they're making Superman movies or Batman movies. Do you need to see... Sorry, I realize I'm going on for quite a long time here, but this has been pissing me off for a long, long time. Like, who needs to see another Batman origin story?
I know.
Batman... I don't care. I don't care. I know his parents get shot. I know. I've seen it literally a dozen fucking times. They don't know what they're doing.
I heartily agree. I've been fucking whining about this for years now. And it's not that difficult. Like, the core elements of Batman is pretty goddamn simple, and yet they keep doing the origin story again, and just slight different things. Like, oh, okay, but in this one, he's actually a working class person, and his mother's alive, but he's still
fascinating.
It's like, oh, cool. What's different about this Batman, really? Then,
yeah, nothing. There's literally no reason why I'd be interested in the character.
They just have a sliding scale of dark to light, where they just tweak it slightly. Like, yeah, but this Batman's slightly grimmer than the other Batman. Like, oh.
And it's the same with Superman. It's the same with basically all of the superheroes at this point. Like, they don't know why they're making these stories, and they're not trying to tell us anything about anything important.
They've forgotten the joy about these characters too. Like Superman in particular. Superman's introduction shouldn't be him growing up in fucking Kansas for the 100th time. It should be him flying by and seeing a girl crying because her cat is lost up a tree, and he takes the time out of his godlike existence to fly down and fetch the cat.
Yeah, now that would be excellent, right? That would be a genuinely excellent thing for them to do at this point, because we know who Superman is, okay? We know who Superman is, but giving us a window into their soul, which is what that would do, would actually make us really like the character. It would actually make us connect with the character. Would we do the same if we had godlike powers? Who knows? And anyway, so yeah, this has been a long-running complaint that I have.
Yeah, like the super basic stuff. Like, everybody's seen a beggar on the street and just walked past because you're like, oh, it's just a beggar, who cares? Superman, you could be the guy who actually stops and takes him for a hot meal. And it's such a tiny thing, but it illustrates such a great thing because he's the man of steel. He's a god. And he does this random act of minuscule kindness that binds you to him so much more strongly than 1,000 bank robberies that he stops.
Yeah. I mean, Steel Manning in the chat, super chat, saying this era of entertainment is all simulacrum, and it literally is all of it, right? So I remember watching Star Trek back in 1995 or whatever, and they would always have like contemporary music in it. And everyone's like, oh, why are they playing music from the 90s? It's like, well, for the same reason that the radio now is still playing music from the 90s, because all creative endeavors ground to a halt around 2005. That's why. Like, literally. Like, all of the radio now, I'm listening to, like, things that I listened to when I was a teenager. And it's just like, why are you playing these fucking songs? It's because there are just no new fucking songs being made that are worth hearing. That's why.
Yep. Unironically, like, I've been listening to 90s and 2000s music and various, like, remixes, because every time I try to listen to something modern, it's usually a fat black woman telling me about her vagina. It's like, I'm not interested.
Yeah, there is that. But I just noticed that, like, the radios always, like, I don't, I get exposed to the radio when I go somewhere in public. I don't listen to the radio myself. But, like, it's always just old songs being played. And it's like, wow, that's really weird, because when I was young, it was new songs that would come out. Like, it was new songs. Yeah, Chumbawamba, all that sort of stuff. Like, that came out in, like, 1996 or something. Like, not even joking. Like, it's an ancient song by today's standards.
And again, we had so many more, like, superstars back then in music and in acting. Now it's Taylor Swift singing a song about how she fucks up in her choice of men again.
Well, yeah, notice how few stars there are now. Taylor Swift is one of the few remaining stars.
It's all been so over-manufactured. The fear of failure and the idea that everything can be fixed with a focus group.
Yeah, but and also just there's such lower quality now. But yeah, no, it's genuinely fascinating. But should we carry on with this guy?
Yes.
Yeah, I'll just slide the better slider from okay to great on all of those. I have an entire video on why developers need context to your feedback. That's never more truer than when you give feedback. When you give, especially positive feedback. If you don't say what you're talking about, it can be really vague. For example, what does better for you mean in a game? Or when you say, how is that AI bad? What are you talking about? What are they not taking cover? Are they just running straight at you shooting? What do you mean? When you say
this too, though, like I feel like it's a little cope here, because most times I've seen feedback, it's never been, oh, the AI is just bad. It's the AI is bad because they won't fucking seize the walls.
Yeah, the AI is bad because my AI companion wasn't shooting at the enemies.
Yeah. I rarely see these blanket statements. Like, usually, from every time I've seen gamers give feedback, if anything, it's a bit too autistic.
Yeah, no, I was literally about to say that. It's always very fucking specific, because they're literally talking about a single time or a couple of times where, like, they've tried to do, and it could be any game, where they've tried to do something in game, and the AI companion just won't cooperate, and it's just, oh, for fuck's sake, all right, fine.
Say you don't like a UI, what is the friction point in that UI that you're encountering? What is it that's bothering you? If you just say
this is your fucking job, like, this is annoying me. It's like, okay, yeah, like, okay, let's say, oh yeah, I don't like the UI. It's like, okay, they might not be able to expressly articulate why they don't like the UI, and it's not their job to, right? They don't owe you their time. You owe them, because they're the ones with the money. And so, okay, you don't like if you're getting regular feedback that we don't like the UI, well, that's up to you guys now. You need to go back to your room and sit there and go, right, we will pay someone to explain to us why they don't like the UI, so we're not just taking their time for free. Or we could just design like 3 different UIs that are just radically different and focus test them, Like, to be like, oh, well, the consumer isn't doing our job for us. Oh, no.
that UI is dumb, it's not helping. And trust me, it's not just gamers who do this. I've worked with people who've literally said that out of their mouth. They're like, that looks dumb. Great, I'll get right on that.
Well, that too, though. Like, if that is your first impression, like, oh, the UI is just shit, burn it all to the ground and start over again. Because that means that somebody isn't nitpicking. They're not going, oh, that window over there looks poor. It's just like, no, that's garbage.
Yeah, start again.
It's unsalvageable.
Yeah. Unfortunately for you, that's, literally, life is tough, like...
Yeah, sometimes you make something that you think looks really, really great, and then you show it to another human being, and they're like, wow.
And the thing is, I don't even believe that people are this unhelpful either, right? I don't believe that's the case. Because I mean, like, people like you and me for decades now have been making suggestions to people like Creative Assembly and Games Workshop, and have they listened? No. So don't pretend like we haven't been giving you very specific critiques of what you could be doing better on these things. Like, I don't think you guys want to fucking hear it.
Absolutely. Like, detailed feedback is not lacking. We have both created God only knows how many thousands of hours of content going into excruciating details of exactly what's going wrong here.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, I don't believe that people are as lackadaisical about it as they're implying.
And again, the Creative Assembly series of Total War is the perfect way to demonstrate this, because people have complained about these exact same things for year and year, and Creative Assembly's solution is to take away the mechanic. Hey, naval battles are pretty bad because the AI can't sail in a straight line, for example. And Creative Assembly, I'll just take that out then.
I'll just make sure that we badmouth Arch Warhammer on fucking stream instead then. It's like, no, you fucks, fucking, like, if they didn't take it so fucking like a bitch, like a bunch of bitches, right? They're just like, look, okay, look, we've come to a point where we literally don't understand your critique, right? I would say, fine, that's all right. I'll come down at my own expense to your headquarters, and I will sit down and talk to you about it. All you have to do is provide me with some tea. And I will explain politely and kindly, because ultimately I wouldn't spend a fucking second on any of your properties if I didn't like them, right? If I wasn't invested in them. I wouldn't spend a second giving you a critique. I'd be like, click off, I'll do something else, right? Yeah. But the reason I spend this time on it is because I love the property and I'm tired of you mismanaging it, right? In every case, I wouldn't spend any energy if I didn't, right? I don't get paid to do this or anything. So, like, when someone's giving you a critique, don't act like they're the fucking enemy.
And that is exactly what Creative Assembly did. Like, with the Darth mod guy, who made mods that fixed so many of their mistakes in Empire and in Shogun, and he went to Creative Assembly. They invited him to hear about for a job, and they treated him like shit and sent him back packing. They just brought him over to piss on him, and then threw him back out the door. Like,
mental. Absolutely mental. And they wonder, like, Creative Assembly are currently... man, I swear to God, can you imagine the amazing things we would produce if we were just given control of a Creative Assembly team to make a game?
It's like, it would be... It'd be so easy to improve on Total War right now, honestly.
I know.
Like, literally, I did a video years ago where I just listed every mechanic they had removed from the game from, like, Medieval 2, and which they'd removed later. Like, outposts, scouting, like, cities growing, population numbers.
I love that as well. I love being able to move population around.
Yeah, there's so much that they've just taken out of the game. And they have done occasional improvements, like, the UI has gotten better, true.
Hang on a second. I'm not even sure I'm convinced of that. So, that's a matter of taste.
But, like, units replenishing in the field, I prefer over needing to, like, send them back one by one to reinforce them. Like,
yeah, I approve of that. That's one of the very few good changes they've made.
But it has been so stagnant in terms of mechanics. You could do so much more in terms of the strategic layer, and it's only gotten slimmer. Like, the economic simulation has only gotten smaller.
And they think that they're fixing the problem by focusing the graphics. And it's like, nope. Like, literally, no. You just stop talking to me about graphics. I didn't play these games for the graphics. No one played these games for the graphics.
And they've encouraged the mindset of every time they run into a problem, they just remove it. Like, we can't figure out how to balance agents in Rome 2. There's too much agent spam. And so what's the solution? Just take the agent mechanic out of the game.
It's so mental. Just put a cap on it, you fucking morons.
Yeah, or simply just have, like, a soft penalty on an area. Like, okay, if you've got 7 assassins camping Rome to assassinate the Pope, okay, I feel like the Pope's bodyguards will have a lot easier time stopping you when there's a dozen dudes clamoring for entry.
Yeah, Yeah, no, that's a great point. Great point. If you just, I mean, there are so many solutions to all of the problems. That's the thing, and they're never. And the thing is, if they were like, no, 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 look, we've tried that because I'd be like, okay, fair enough. Let's think of the next thing. But they never come out and explain why these solutions don't work. They never address the criticisms. They just block you. And it's like, oh, okay.
Yep. And this goes on until eventually, with the Shadows of Change DLC, they get yelled at by so many people that they have to just change their entire DLC policy. They build up the discontent until it explodes. Like,
yeah,
this is going to end up destroying the studio eventually.
And it's again very bizarre that like why don't you have any creatives at your creative assembly?
And you'd think they'd have some. They've got 800 plus employees now. Have you not happened upon one?
Yeah.
Or have you just been hiring friends and family because of the dental plan?
Oh God, I can only assume. But like, it's just very bizarre how there are so few ideas. It's like, okay, how about this, right? Creative Assembly, stop making Total War games. Make a different kind of game.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I would say that in their room, and they'd be like, fucking what? We can't stop making Total War games. And it's like, but why not? You don't have any inspiration for what you're doing here. Do something else.
Well, there is a problem with that. Do you remember the last time they tried to make a passion project?
Wasn't it that Fortnite game that got cancelled?
Yeah, Hyenas with the the drag queen.
Yeah, well, you know, if you're going to make a woke passion project, then you deserve the failure that you're going to encounter, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I think the thing is, too, that sometimes you have creative personnel who only have so many good games in them.
Yep.
And once they've kind of exhausted their well, they start making shit like Hyenas.
Yeah, and that felt very much like a kind of cash-in to a fad as well.
Like, I think the people who made it genuinely did believe in it. They were actual converts to the church of this nonsense.
Quite possibly, but the style of game, I mean.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
it was
it felt
intended
like
to be a live service fucking looter shooter style thing.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, but, you know, were you growing up being like, God, I wish I had a live service looter shooter? You know, no one cares. No one wants that. You know, that's not really a passion project, is it? You know?
Fucking CA. Oh, God, 4 minutes. This.
Let's carry on.
Sometimes, though, and you know, I've talked about how some UI issues are really an underlying system mechanic issue. This comes up in the videos on encumbrance, where you can have a really good UI if your game supports encumbrance, but you take encumbrance out, and suddenly that same UI is terrible because people can carry more. And suddenly there's a lot more things in their inventory, and the UI you were using for a limited inventory doesn't work for a UI with an unlimited inventory. So,
make the inventory screen larger.
Yeah, redesign the UI.
Again, it kind of feels like a made-up problem. Like, oh, but now he's carrying more, and you can't see it all. Okay, add a
Put a scroll bar on there. Yeah, like, you know, sorry, like I thought you were video game developers. I thought you could make things.
Yeah,
to solve problems.
Add in an auto sort button by ammunition weapons.
Yeah, that would be another thing that I've seen in a million other games.
Yeah, this doesn't sound insurmountable, and I do indeed think that the simple critique "make the UI better" suffices.
It's actually very reasonable when you think about it.
Yeah, let me see all of the things.
Again, this seems like a very like in the weeds complaint, where it's like, well, yeah, but look, I wanted to do as minimal amount of work as possible. And it's like, okay, but you're making a video game and you want it to be good, right? So you're going to have to accept that work is necessary, and you're just going to have to do it. Just crack on.
So that's why you need to be very specific about what it is you didn't like. Do you really hate that UI, or do you hate that you can vacuum up everything, or do you want to be able to vacuum up everything, but you just wish the game would somehow organize it better? Be specific. Here's the one that really gets me, and that many of you...
Obviously, I, as a player, essentially want to get everything, right? Like if you drop it in Diablo, if you drop a bunch of loot, I obviously want to be able to get it all. The purpose of restrictions is to make me choose,
Heresy's the question.
right? It's to make me
Fire is the answer.
make meaningful choices, right? Am I going to collect these 10 unmagical items, or am I going to collect the ones that are glowing as part of a set? You know, like it's not a very difficult choice in that point. But the point is, I know that my inventory space is limited, so I have a choice to make, and it's my agency in the choice that affects the outcomes that I have. And these are basic design principles, very basic design principles.
Yeah. And the job as a designer then is to go like, okay, do I wish to punish pack ratting? And if so, how?
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. And not only that, like making the player play around limitations is part of the player exercising the creativity in your game, right?
Yeah.
It's why I like playing, things like Total War. I like playing as small factions, It's like, yeah, I'm a small faction next to a giant empire. What am I going to do? I don't know. I'm going to have to win some big fucking battles, aren't I? So I'm challenged by the limitations. So it's okay to put the limitations in. Don't ask me, ask the random player. So do you want me to take the limitations out then? It's like, well, someone who doesn't really understand why they play games will probably just say yes, but they'll also get bored really quickly of your game. They'll get very, very bored, and they'll be like, okay, I don't know why I don't enjoy this anymore, but I don't enjoy this anymore. I'm going to play something else.
Mm-hmm.
Refuse to acknowledge. You all...
God damn it. Why is YouTube being so weird now?
Hi everyone, it's me. If you don't say what you're talking about, if your game's that many of you refuse to acknowledge, you all, again, I wish English had a plural you all do not agree on what a good feature is. Go back and watch.
Yeah,
no
yes?
kidding.
Well, a good feature is determined by the game in question. Like, if you have a survival crafty game, for example, and you decided to not include the crafting mechanic, people would probably look at you weirdly.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, if you have like a first-person shooter game and you stop and go like, oh, no, now you need to build a hut to shelter from the weather or something.
Well, I tell you, I've got a great example of this, and that's Rome Total War 2 and the first person you can go into the unit and watch them fight feature.
Mm.
What? Who's asking for that?
See, like,
why?
that is one of
I
those
controlling
things.
an entire battlefield?
That's the thing too. Like in a differently designed game, because this is a point that could be awesome. I would love to do that, but the average Total War battle is over in 3 fucking minutes. I don't have time for that.
Yeah, but also I've got loads of other men to control. What am I sitting around just watching this one unit? No.
Exactly.
I don't have time for this.
If the fights were like more realistic, if it were 2 units who were pushing and pulling against each other, and this could take like 10 minutes, then I might love to zoom in and check it out. But when the match lasts for 3 minutes, I have cavalry to flank with, I have skirmishers to withdraw, I've got archers to target, I'm busy.
Yep, exactly. So it's not that there's anything intrinsically wrong with that mechanic. It's just, why would I need it in this kind of game?
Yeah, you put that mechanic in a game that clearly does not benefit from it.
Yeah.
Watch both of my encumbrance videos. They're linked below. Or watch the video I had on fast travel. Or even the video I did on providing game difficulty, different options in there. Read the comments on it, which I know a lot of you don't do, and you complain that YouTube doesn't do a good job of sorting them. Just pick one of those videos, set it to show all the comments, and scroll for a few minutes. You will find that some of you literally say you will not play a game that is lacking a particular feature, and then keep scrolling, and you'll find people who hate games that have that feature. And it can be anything. Fast.
This is great. Why aren't people all unanimous on their opinions? It's like, well, because they're not. Because everyone's different. So choose the one you think works best for what you are trying to do. Again, if you had an aesthetic goal in mind, right? If you were like, I want to bring a particular kind of experience, then you would not need these people's advice and you wouldn't heed it, right? You would just be like, well, that person wants to play a different kind of game to the one I'm making, so I ignore it. It wouldn't come up. It wouldn't be an issue.
this is exactly the problem of the tale of the pasta sauce, where the pasta company was like, okay, we need to make the perfect pasta sauce, so figure out what the perfect pasta sauce is. And the researcher was just like, there is no such thing as the perfect pasta sauce. There are perfect pasta sauces. Because some like it chunky, some like it lean, some like it spicy, some like it mild, etc.
Yeah. And that's exactly what these video game designers have no idea that they're supposed to be dealing with.
Fast travel, VO, walls of text, story mode. Some of you require it, and some of you skip games that have it. And you have reasons for doing it. I'm not saying you're wrong. What I am saying is there's no possible way to make a game that will make all of you happy.
Then stop trying!
Yeah, that's true.
Stop trying. Why are you even like literally? He's saying, "Look, I want to engineer the perfect game. Literally, the pasta sauce problem. It's like there's no such thing. Do something else."
It's interesting to me, and this channel has made me really acknowledge it. You don't even agree on the fact that all of you are disagreeing. Some of you don't acknowledge.
I mean, I don't think we need to. I think that is just something we take for granted. That people have different tastes in video games.
Yeah, different people have different tastes. Yes, obviously. Yeah. Brilliant. I'm glad we've discovered this collectively.
Knowledge there are any other game players out there. There was a video I did where I said people frequently want better graphics, but a lot of you ask for better graphics. And someone said, and I quote, "No one asked for better graphics." I guess you never read a review and you don't go on any forum boards because yes, they do. And keep in mind,
pause it a second there, right? Better is a relative term, right? Because what the engineer hears when they hear better is bigger numbers, right? More advanced, more technical accomplishment. But that's not what people are actually asking for when they say, I want better graphics. What they're asking for is a more readable art style. They are, when someone says I want better graphics, they're not saying I need more pixels. I need, more color differentiation or whatever. What they're saying is make it look easier to read, make it easier on the eye. And that is, literally you can go back. And in fact, Amiga games are great for this, right? Amiga games are really great for this. Look, let me find you something to bring up.
All right.
So this, here we go. So Amiga games had, I think it was 256 color palette. It was pretty good, but it wasn't like that big compared to games now. You certainly couldn't do anything realistic. I've DM'd it to you. Right? This image is a good example, right?
All right, bringing it up.
So this is an old Amiga game called Chuck Rock. As you can see, the actual technical quality of the graphics is very low. It's just pixels, right? Uh-huh. But the whole thing is very readable. It's pleasant to look at. It's fun, actually, to look at. There are lots of little details in there, and the whole thing looks smooth, right? You can see exactly, but you can see if you zero in on any one bit of it, you can be like, oh, look, I can see the individual pixels that make up the shading on that grey rock in the word rock there, right? But that doesn't matter, because when you're not looking at that little one bit, well, the whole thing looks like a pleasant platform game, like intro screen, and it was lovely because it was made by people who were just having some fun and had an artistic vision.
And this is also the benefit of limitations, because when you only have so many pixels to deal with and so many colors, etc., you've got to characterize the characters in such a way as to communicate a lot about them very quickly and very easily. Like the drummer looks like kind of angry, the guitarist looks like cool and determined. Whereas now, where everything is so graphically advanced, we've forgotten how to characterize, and DC is infamous for this. They started with the Bruce Timm style, which everyone remembers, and then they went to just the same art style as everybody else.
Yeah, I think Monkey Island is another great example in the chat. In fact, let me send you a video of it. Right? Can you play the video of it?
Yeah, I should be able to.
Right, and again, the important bit from this is not the quality of the graphics. No one was ever like, I want better graphics. This is just charm. The whole thing is charm. You know, there's an aesthetic that is, and if you put the music on as well, because the whole thing sells it, right? So it's just, you know, a Stone Age rock band. It's a bit of fun, but it looks nice. It looks pleasant. You know, it's appealing to look at, and the whole game has got this kind of art style. You know, so it's a coherent, consistent art style with a sort of coherent, consistent theme and like sort of the levity of the thing. You know, and at no point in the game is it ugly or garish or boring. And this was made 30 years ago on machines that couldn't even power your watch anymore. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's like, we're not asking for better graphics in fidelity or anything like that. And don't get me wrong, you can stop that now. Don't get me wrong, if you can do that, like Space Marine 2 is a great example of this, right? Space Marine 2 was mind-blowingly good-looking game, right? Mind-blowingly good-looking. Like, I was in awe of the game because you could at any point just pause it or print screen it, paste it, and it would look like a work of art. You know, like some artist had spent days painting this fucking thing. It was genuinely incredible, right? But it was consistent, right? It didn't have to be that incredible. And it's nice if you can do it, but that's not the end goal, right? It's not the only thing. And it's not really the standard by which things are being judged. Again, it's good if you can do it, but you don't have to do it if you can't. And obviously in Rome Total War, you can't do that. So don't try.
Yeah, and there's also a lot to be said about the mind as well, drawing pictures here, because everyone always mentioned like 2D blood always feels gorier than realistic blood. And that is because your mind is filling in more of the blanks without you even noticing. It's communicating more of the horror of it. Whereas if you really have that super high graphic intensity, unless you can make it so good that it is indistinguishable from real life, you're kind of like in the perfect wrong position where your mind isn't filling in enough of the bits to make it unnerving.
Yeah.
It feels
you force the developer puts themselves in a position where they are either they are in the uncanny valley.
Yes.
And so now they have to get the graphics even better to get out of the uncanny valley. And it's like, okay, but maybe you shouldn't have stepped in the valley in the first place.
Yeah, like, honestly, if anybody's complaining about better graphic as in just more higher fidelity, just ignore them, frankly. Because even the people who complain about it aren't really that worried about it, because we haven't had a major evolution in graphics now for like fucking 10 years or something.
Yeah. I mean, I started playing Red Dead Redemption 2 the other day, and I'm blown away by the detail in it. Like, just... And the graphics themselves are great, you know, they're fine. But it's the attention to detail, like the snow and stuff like that. It's just like, wow, this is amazing. You know, and this was 2018. This came out. You know, so, and I know I just never played it, you know, back in the day. But it looks incredible. And it's like, you know, but again, it's not necessarily the number of pixels, it's the detail. But yeah, art over graphics in the chat. That's exactly what this boils down to.
Yep. So, yeah, honestly, if somebody complains about better graphics, ignore them. Solution found.
Or make your graphics more consistent. That's it.
Better graphics. Sometimes they're just talking about they want a higher resolution. They bought a 4K monitor and they're upset they're not getting a game in 4K. Sometimes they want a farther view distance. They're upset that it clips really early, or that there's always things blocking their view. They don't get a nice wide view of anything. Sometimes they just mean more creature variety or more location variety. These are all better graphics. These are all things that require a lot more art time, a lot more things to be loaded in, a lot better optimization of your engine. These are all going into the category of better graphics. And all of you, I guarantee, have asked for some form of better graphics.
That is the broadest fucking generalization of better graphics I think I've ever heard.
All purely mechanical, though, again. Just purely mechanical.
At some point when you're responding to a question of what did you like and dislike about this game. Now, keep in mind, too, sometimes you guys talk about art style, but everything I just mentioned, even if the art style stays the same, you will need more polys and more textures and more everything just to give you more creature variety or more location variety. So just that means, it falls under the aegis of better graphics, but means more work, more artists, more time, more money. And many of you who say, well, I don't really care about graphics. I'm one of you. Graphics have never been high on my list of what I care about in a game, but many, many, many players are attracted to a game by its pretty graphics, even if they stay afterwards because the gameplay is so good.
That is a point. Yeah, the first impression, I suppose.
Sure, but one of the things about style over quality is that the style is, let's say, encompassing and sets the expectations, right? So if you look at the game Magicka, Magic has always been a great example of this. Let me get a screenshot.
I have lost shit.
So here's a link to get up a second. Magicka was a great example. This is 2013, I think it was. This came out, so it's quite old. Now, you can look at this, and again, if you zoom in on any individual thing, you can see they're not that high poly, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can see, like on the Minotaur thing where the purple wizard's fighting, you can see the kind of the triangles in the back. You know, you can see the triangles on the ice wall or whatever it is, but that's not really what you see when you look at it, right? So what you see is the general composition of the shot and what is happening, and because things have been created well, the aesthetic of the entire scene molds together well. The fact that these things are relatively low poly doesn't matter, you know? So actually, we're not asking for that many polys or anything like that. That's actually not what's being asked for. What we're asking for really is coherency.
Yeah, and again, good graphics does not equal good style and vice versa.
In fact, it can be the opposite. One thing I've noticed is this push for ultra realism is really making games feel disjointed. And this is actually one of the things that sort of the Elden Ring games did quite well, is that their graphics all look good, but they all had a consistent sort of grim, dark style to them, right? Which made the world feel like it was cohesive and that it was tied together, you know? But if you don't have a particular art direction, having just hyper-realistic things can make your game not look like it ties together.
Yeah. And meanwhile, having a unified art style can make lower poly objects more appealing.
Oh, yes.
The recent China game, My Rivals, is an excellent example of this. All they've really done is they've taken a fairly, it's not a low detail poly model by any stretch of the imagination, but the texture is doing 98% of the work. The heavy use of differential shading, the white outlines, etc., that is doing almost all of the heavy lifting here. There's almost none of it placed upon the polygons themselves or making it high detailed. It's a texture.
Yeah, the bump mapping textures and things like that can essentially cheat your way out of having to do any of that.
Yeah,
you know, and this has been the case for decades now. You know, for decades. And this whole like, oh, you're asking us to do extra work, and it's like, no. What I'm asking you is to plan in advance for the work you're going to do and do it properly. You know, like, again, you shouldn't have even come to us with these complaints. These are complaints you should have worked out years ago, right? These are not complaints that you should be going to the audience with. And you should have accounted for them before you started making your game.
Mm-hmm. All right. We're not going to get through this.
Let's keep going.
I have lost shit.
Pretty graphics open the door. I've told some designers under me, sometimes it's like dating. Your head may be turned by the prettiness, but you stay because of the personality and the chemistry. So it's like that with games. Make a pretty game, more people will at least get their eyeballs on your game. Then they're stay because of the mechanics. And then later on, they'll deny ever even looking at your game because it was pretty.
Yes, but again, there are ways around this. Like, you can literally, like, this mobile gaming is some of the largest gaming around right now. Why? Because they'll put up a picture like this of two hot anime girls, and that'll be the sales pitch. That'll be the get your attention in the door. And then the gameplay will be chibis firing pixels at each other.
Yeah.
that's all you like. That's the thing. You don't need to go like, oh, I need the most ultra advanced, hyper realistic Unreal 5 super duper graphics. What you're talking about is a hook.
Yep. And Magicka again is another great example of this, where the art style was cute, right, and it was appealing to look at. The little mages look nice. You know, it's pleasant to look at. The spell effects were pleasant to look at. They weren't the best graphics in the world, but it was just pleasant to look at. And the whole thing had a sense of fun and whimsy about it. And so the hook was there because, like, again, it doesn't have to be detail. It has to be composition. It has to be style, tone. You know, the Chuck Rock things, again, like just looking at it, it's a fun thing to look at, you know?
Absolutely. I mean, there was that super popular like little auteur game from a few years ago, Undertales.
I heard about it, but I never played it.
Me neither, but it's just pixel graphics.
Yep.
Unironically, if pixel graphic games can be super duper popular, then the whole argument of, oh, the gamers only watch for hyper realistic graphics, it's not true.
It's not true.
One of the things I want to point out is many of you argue against things that would make a game that even tries to provide more things for more players. And I've talked about how design by committee is bad, which I agree with. And usually that leads to making a game that's so bland and vanilla that no one can really have an argument against it, but nobody really feels like playing it.
What he's doing here is designing by committee. He's just made the committee everyone who plays the game.
Well, let's see what his point is.
What I mean by that is many of you literally have argued that games should have fewer game options. I'm not even talking about game difficulty, just fewer game options. I have a video on game options. I'll link it below. Again, read those comments. Many of you are going, yeah, I hate when games have a lot of options. I don't know what to set. The designer should have decided that. Why are they making me do that? That's just
totally reasonable.
Yeah, I think that's the argument we've been making so far.
Yeah, totally reasonable.
That is unironically the designer's job.
Yeah.
Means they didn't have a strong vision. Ignoring the fact that many of those options are there to let more people play the game. I'm colorblind. That's a disability. There are games I literally...
Yeah, that's not what people were complaining about. Yeah, no one's complaining, oh, you've got a colorblind option. Well, that's not the thing. That's not the option they were complaining about. What they're saying is they're being dumped in a world with no particular direction and they don't know what to do, and so they don't do anything.
Yeah, and the game wasn't designed for that. Because this thing, you can do that. You can do a game like Kenshi that just dumps your ass in a world and goes like, all right, what do you want to do? But you have to actually make the game for that. You can't just do that in any game and expect the player to get along.
Yeah. I mean, Fallout was always a great example of that, where it's like, okay, you're in an open world, good luck.
Yeah, like the only motivation is, hey, find the water ship within so and so much time, have fun.
But the thing is, the world, and Fallout 3, again, is another great example. The world is just filled with stuff to encounter. Great, I'll go and encounter it. That sounds like fun.
Yeah.
You cannot play because they have puzzles or information that I'm supposed to pick up on that's color-based, but there are no color blindness options. The worst ones of these are ones that don't say up front that they do that, and then later I'm playing the game and I realize I'm playing it wrong, or I've encountered puzzles that I literally...
Nobody's complaining about this, bro.
Yep. This seems nonsensical.
Yeah.
Cannot solve, and there's no option to do so. Super frustrating. So let me sum up, because I've been ranting for a while. I get that you, the individual, want what you, the individual, want. But you have to realize that you, the individual, are not very good at giving developers feedback, and that you, the individual, are not everybody the game's being made for. Many of you aren't even in the majority.
The game's not made for you, bro.
Yeah, but that's the thing. The game's not made for fucking anybody, bro. Because you are literally making it for mechanics, not for art.
Yeah. Somebody asked you to draw them a picture and you handed them a paintbrush.
Yeah. Like, who does he think?
I don't think I'm in the majority. I've made a lot of niche games. And so that's kind of what I'm saying here is game development is technically, but this lack of consensus among game players about what they want takes that difficulty to a whole new, that much harder to make a game that you want to be popular, that you want to have a lot of sales, because most of you don't know what you want. Those of you that do know what you want are very vague at expressing it.
Oh, I'm
God
so
damn
fucking
YouTube.
sorry. It's literally his job to figure this out.
Play the game and tell me what you think. Who would like it? Many of you like my earlier games. Maybe it's because I did make them in a vacuum like that, and I wasn't thinking what people thought. However, I can tell you my later games sold more copies. So what's
Okay, so that's kind of the end point. So he made a game that he wanted to make, and that was beloved. But he made a later game and he sold more copies. Like, okay,
What was the later game?
I'm not sure, but
What's this guy's name? I'll look him up.
Tim something.
That's not very helpful.
Was it Tim Kane? Was it Tim Kane?
I'm going
Yeah, Tim Kane.
Yeah, it is Tim Kane. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So, I think it's the same guy. Yeah. Right. So he's at Interplay, made Fallout. He went to Troika Games, made Dungeons and Dragons, Temple of Elemental Evil. Then he joined Obsidian, Pillars of Eternity, co-director of The Outer Worlds. So yeah, okay, but think about the kind of games you're making here, right? So he did Bard's Tale back in the day, right? So I played a lot of this guy's games. Fallout 2, Starfleet Academy, Arcanum of Steamworks and Magic Obscura. But then what he's talking about is Pillars of Eternity, right?
Yeah, probably.
So and Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. Yeah, he's talking about Pillars of Eternity. So, but Pillars of Eternity was building on the goodwill you had built up by making the games that you wanted to make. Right?
Yes.
That's what it was doing.
And it was
didn't come
released
out of
in
nowhere.
2015. Like the gaming, you cannot compare the gaming market of 2000, much less 1990s.
1997. is
Yeah, to
Fallout.
2015. Like it had quadrupled, octupled in size by then. So of course it sold more fucking copies.
Yeah, but not only that, you had established a reputation by making something you wanted to make, and that's what you were trading on with Pillars of Eternity. And doubtless I had like when you were like, right, okay, I want to make another RPG. Everyone's like, oh, what, the guy who made Fallout wants to make another RPG?
Mm-hmm.
Throw money at this man, throw a marketing budget at this man. Get the word out on social media that didn't exist in 1997.
Yep.
Obviously you're going to sell more copies because of the goodwill you built up.
They traded on this a lot with The Outer Worlds, who everyone was super excited for. Then it arrived and it was short, buggy, and a wokeist piece of shit. And everybody regretted their purchase. So even if you sold more copies, you now have the Star Wars problem of the trilogies. The Disney trilogies sold a lot of tickets, and now nobody watches Star Wars. Now Star Wars is a dead property. Now Skeleton Crew gets less views than the fucking Acolyte because people are like, I hate this thing now.
Yep. So, and you you could have stopped worrying about any of these things and just gone back to the mindset you had when you were making Fallout. Literally, that's all people actually want from you as well. I swear to God. Just go back to whatever you were thinking when you made Fallout and just be like, yeah, fuck them. They don't know what they want. Look at all this contradictory nonsense. I'm going to make what I want. And trust me, it'll end up good, bro. I promise.
Yep. Stop worrying. Make video games.
Yeah. And stop, again, crowdsourcing the art that you're trying to make is such a bad idea. That is literally designed by committee at the largest possible level. I'm going to have the largest possible committee. It's like, why?
Yeah. And again, he sold more copies to a much larger market with way more consumers and way more ways to get the news out there.
Yeah, but again, like you said, the market is, God knows how much bigger the video game market is
It's incomparable.
now than it was in 1997.
It's so easy to illustrate by the fact that when I went to school, being a gamer was something to be ashamed of. Now it's every fucking frat boy's identity.
Yeah, everyone plays games. So,
Right. Well, we managed to get through it just within. Let me wrap up the super chats for you, Sargon.
yeah,
Because we're going to
go
try
through
and
some
keep
chats.
these to round about 2 hours rather than our usual sprawling fucking screes.
Yeah, I've got work tomorrow, so.
Yep. Analog Mind for 20. Welcome, Sargon, to this great new show. I always felt there needed to be a casual politics show with, show with like the old streams. Our cats being more culture talk, could you use this as an opportunity to reconnect with Aiden and Uzulu?
Heresy's the
I
question.
think that last bridge
Fire
is
is the
definitely
answer.
burnt.
Well, yeah, but like, you know, I'm not interested in rehashing old things. Things that are done are done. Let's just move on.
Yeah. And honestly, like I'm glad you say that, Logline, because that was kind of what I was hoping this would be. Just the two of us shooting the shit and talking about stuff.
Yeah.
Which is why, by the way, we do have a pin in the comments to the Discord. You can just suggest videos, and I'll look through them before we do these. And if there's something cool in there, we'll just watch that. It doesn't need to even be politics. This is just going to be a very relaxed stream style.
Definitely send us some fun things to watch.
Yeah. This is just going to be me and Sargon, old buddies, shooting the shit. That'll be what it is. And if people want to watch, great. Dard Nago. Hi, Art and Sargon. I hope you guys have a nice day. Thank you. I hope you have a nice day too. Oh, then YouTube scrolls again. God help me. River Norse, Sargon, you have said that such as the Communist Party should be proscribed. What is your opinion on modern-day monarchists? They too technically want to end democracy. Should we also proscribe?
Well, I mean, I live in a monarchy, so why would you prescribe monarchism?
Yeah, and honestly, I don't think monarchism, as in what we're referring to here, absolute monarchism, I don't think it has a massive amount of political support, honestly.
I don't know if there's a single party in Britain that would call itself a monarchist party.
Yeah, so I don't think this is a problem we have.
Yeah.
It's like, don't get me wrong, if there's a massive resurgence in absolute monarchist support, I'll consider it, but...
Yeah. Like, I don't even know who I'd be advising they prescribe. Like, I can't name anyone.
Mercenaries, anyone? Sargon, Arts, we will take over your country soon. Listen, at this point, I welcome Norway's vassalization to the United States.
Yeah, this is a big debate that's going on the sort of online right at the moment. It's like, well, I mean, I don't really want to be vassalized by anyone.
Yeah.
But there are going to be worse people to be vassalized by. You know,
Exactly.
If it's America or China, well, obviously I'm going to choose America.
I would prefer Norway to remain fully independent, but if the choice is the European Union or America, well, God bless the Stars and
America?
Stripes.
Yeah, exactly. I was having this conversation earlier with a couple of friends of mine, and they were like, yeah, we hate America for the way it treats its allies. It's like, yeah, every hegemon is kind of the same in that. But like the Europeans, in the case of Britain in particular, the Europeans are very resentful about Britain. They really will try and hurt us when they can.
Oh yeah,
Because
the
of-
entire Brexit thing was just one long saga of the EU trying to find every way to hurt Britain it could.
But this has been going on for long before. Like there are quotes from like Nicolas Sarkozy in the like 90s where he's like, oh yeah, England's going to be the real loser out of this trade deal and stuff like that. And then our politicians like, yeah, our partners in France. I was like, what do you mean our fucking partners in France? You know, they have nothing but fucking resentment against us, I'm afraid. You know, like there's always going to be a class of European, you know, technocrat who's resentful about Britain. And it's like, you know, and so don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that, oh, America perfect, blah, 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 but like, we don't have any great options here.
Yep. And like as much, again, like America used to be this country that everyone in Europe could kind of look down their noses at and be like, oh, you're uncultured swine, you're led by an idiot and George W. Bush. Look at our leaders today. Look at Europe today.
Quote unquote leaders.
Yeah, we have somewhat lost our superior position there.
Yeah. Especially with Trump. I mean, you know, say what you like, but he's going to get results from the United States.
Yep, he's going to get something done. Meanwhile, the rest of us are still stuck in this fucking sludge for another decade or two.
Yeah.
Tanushi, Arch, elucidate Sargon and the charms of Völkelpauku sandwich cake. You might know it as smørgåstre, but I don't know the Norwegian term for it. I think we have something similar, which is called egg cake. It's eggs with jam on it.
Eggs with jam.
Yes, and bacon.
That is weird.
What was lingonberries? Is that an English word?
Maybe, but I've never heard of them.
I have lost.
They're these little weird red berries, and we put them on like a huge clump of like omelet and then bacon. It's
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, I've never heard of it, but it doesn't sound like the worst thing. It sounds better than biscuits and gravy.
it is. It's far cleaner, but it has a strange combination of sweet and soury tastes. It's
Right.
if you love it, like it, you'll love it. But if you don't, it's gonna be very weird.
Right. Well, I've never even heard of it. I think they might be called snowberries in English, but they don't grow here, so they're not part of our culture. But as far as I'm aware, they come from Scandinavia, right?
Snowberries. That sounds like it would be realistic sounding.
I think I've heard of these.
Let's see. I can't even get Google to give me an example.
Google's like, never heard of it, bro.
Yep, this is one of those weird things. Okay, there's kind of one. Yeah, it's sort of kind of like just a really huge omelet
Okay.
that we put stuff on, and usually then like the sweet berries and stuff. It's really salty. It's like a lot of eggs and a lot of salt.
I mean, I'd give it a go. Doesn't sound terrible.
That's a slightly better picture where you can see it's fat. It's like a thick bottomed pizza of just eggs.
Like I said, I'd give it a go.
It's not awful. Brandon for 10. Sargon, I want to ask what your and the Lotus Eaters' antipathy is to transhumanism. Curious to hear the argument against.
Well, I find a lot of transhumanism to be kind of cope with the human condition, right? And I think that a healthy view on the life is to come to terms with the human condition, and that makes transhumanism look kind of sad and desperate. Like the guy who like takes his son's blood to try and remain young. It's like, you are a literal vampire now. Are you sure? Is that moral? Is that good? I'm not sure that that's good. Actually, I think maybe growing old with dignity and dying as a happy old chap surrounded by hundreds of grandchildren who love you and who think the world of you is a better end to your life than dying as a desperate old vampire who is bitter at the fact that he aged and died, right? It strikes me that you haven't come to grips with the human condition, right? And you're essentially trying to live in a state of arrested development, which is not good, actually. I think that's psychologically not good. And so you need to come to terms with the fact that you are a mere mortal. And transhumanism is an attempt to subvert God's order in that way.
Citizenship.
Can't be healthy. And it'll lead us to do things that we regret. And also, I think a lot of the claims transhumanism is making is nonsense. Like, oh, why don't you upload your brain into the cloud? It's like, well, then it's not you, is it? Like, you are not living forever. An image of you, like an ISO of a hard drive, was taken, like, at this particular point, and you're still dead.
Yeah.
That's a simulation of you. So, okay, great, well done. Are you that important that we need an eternal simulation of you? Probably not.
Empty Veins, Sargon, where's my Islander 2 issue?
Citizenship.
Well, it should be on the way, and if not, email contact@lotuseast.com because we're just sending them out manually now because we got totally stiffed by the distributor, and they have been honestly, my apologies by the way, they have been fucking atrocious, and so we have actually had to change distributors entirely for the next edition because this was just unbelievable, and so we're sending them out manually. Send us an email. We're sorry.
Sucks.
Yeah, it's been a real nightmare, but the new distributor seems to be a lot more reliable. Like they've been like, look, just come to our distribution network and have a look at it. Trust us. Because getting stuff printed is actually not very expensive or very difficult, right? Printing is very easy. Distribution is the problem, and where all the money in production is spent, really. And so this distributor was like, yeah, come and see our operation. And I'm not going to say what it is or anything, but like, and so we're going to send someone out there to have a look at it, but we honestly are a lot more confident about them because of their openness. Whereas the other one has been like, stop emailing us. And it's like, what do you mean stop emailing you? We're your fucking customer. Why aren't our customers getting the fucking... And honestly, I'm I won't go on forever about it, but it's been a very frustrating thing. And again, I'm very sorry.
Johnson Smith for 5. Love you two together. Unfortunately, watching the SpaceX Starship launch. We'll watch this later. And Sargon, you need to get Arch to eat better food.
Oh, me?
I will not be lectured by an Englishman on food.
The thing is, there are probably Englishmen who can lecture you on food, but am I that guy? Like, I've got very basic tastes. Just FYI. Famously so, I would say, at this point.
Not Alferia, Sargon. Next time you're in Texas, order some biscuits and gravy. It's savory and delicious.
I don't know if I want to.
I don't know, so I've been threatened with Mexican food enough already.
Oh, I had so many people, oh, you've got to go and try an empanada. You'll love it. So I actually, when I was in Florida, I was like, okay, yeah, I'll go get an empanada. It's a Cornish pasty. It's just a pasty. I mean, don't get me wrong, it was nice, but I know what pasties are.
And I remain resistant to the cries of my audience on this.
It's just fucking pasty.
Crumb laughs at your 4-win Sargon. What games have you made? Shut the fuck up. Actually, Sargon was making a game.
I've actually made a couple of prototypes for games. For me, it's mostly funding and time, and I kind of got sucked into politics. Otherwise, I would still be making games.
Mm-hmm.
But also, even if I hadn't, that doesn't render my criticisms invalid. It's just a personal attack. My criticisms are valid on the merits.
And he also says, learn to code, which Sargon also knows how to code.
Actually, yeah, I can code.
This is kind of like when the progressives were telling you that you were a fake 40k fan, so to show your models.
Oh, Jesus Christ, yeah. I like that guy who wrote the article being like, okay, look, I saw his Magnus the Red, and actually it's pretty banging, so I admit he probably is a 40k fan. It's like, yes, thank you. I appreciate that, actually.
Not Alferius, not Brand the Blessed, Sargon, Brand the Broken. Lol, literally remembering your psychic tree, God King is a cripple in the history books.
Oh, yeah, no, Brand the Blessed was an Irish hero or something. Yeah, sorry, it was Brand the Broken. Good point, sorry.
Marksman 117B, we need Lum Lum here to stare at Sargon.
Who?
My pet Mexican.
Ah, right, okay.
It's important to have at least one, I've found. And Alex Robertson, 420, thank you, Sargon, for helping me understand the flaws of modern governments and philosophy, and the difference between cultures without leading me down the dark path of mid-centuryism or Italianism. God bless you.
Well, you are welcome. And, it shouldn't be very difficult not to become an aficionado of mid-century Germanism. Like, I'm not German. Why would I want that?
It is weird how we've kind of arrived at debating the relative merits of the two largest failed ideologies in recent memory.
So I'm not celebrating the loser of World War II, thank you.
Yeah, nor am I celebrating the one that lost the economic war shortly thereafter.
Yeah, I don't like celebrating losers.
Yep, it's like, what are your options? Well, we could do the one that has built the society of unrivaled opulence, or we could do socialism left or right.
Yeah, can we not? Yeah, exactly. We've got our own thing. We can do that.
Yep. Can we improve upon it? Sure. Is that improvement
Yes.
socialism? No.
Yeah.
Aurelius Phoenix, thanks Sargon, big fan for a while, changed the mind of an Irish American in that I no longer look at the British unkindly. Best to you, Arch, fan of you both for a long time. Thank you.
Yeah, very kind.
Ballcraft for 20, never forget, Sargon eats burnt steak. Hey, so do I.
But I like my steak well done.
Yeah.
For me, it's the texture. I prefer the sort of firm texture of the steak. And the thing is, it's not like I don't eat rare steak or anything. When you go out or when someone else has cooked it, whatever, you got to, you just get it as you get it, right? But if I'm cooking it for myself, I just prefer the sort of strong, firm texture of a well done steak. I'm just that way inclined.
I literally had a pizza before the stream today, and I burn my fucking pizza. Like, the edges are black.
Yeah, I don't mind well done, like burnt toast as well. I quite like it.
Yeah, it should be burnt.
I saw people getting on my case about that on Twitter. I'm like, but this is my preference, isn't it? It's my food. I thought this was America.
It's weird to me when people show me a piece of this is a perfect toast and it's just like barely brown. I'm like, you can't even.
Oh yeah.
You can't even taste it at that point. It's not even crunchy.
Yeah.
No, I've come to the conclusion that my entire chat is just wrong about food.
Well, I've come to the conclusion the entire bloody internet's wrong about food.
Yep.
But what I find really funny about it is everyone treats it very seriously, as if I've cooked this for them. I was like, but I ate this. Like I had some rad femme on Twitter the other day being like, you cook like you're wifeless and motherless. And I'm like, what? Bro, I was just making myself a fucking steak. like, can I not just... Like, I made a beef steak, a pork steak, and a couple of fried eggs. And I was like, yeah, that's nice. I'm happy with that. And everyone freaked the fuck out about it, man. I was like, okay, that's weird. This is mine, not yours.
Yeah, no, honestly, I'm going to start taking pictures of my food. I understand why all of those influencers do it now. It's
Oh, yeah.
gets a lot of
Millions of
attention.
views, though. Lots of money. Yeah, I can't complain.
We're going to have many discussions about culinary arts in the future, chat. Don't you worry. Right. Alexander Cross, Sargon's point is valid. Arch is a heretic. Oh, I want that.
Correct.
Dean, Sargon's the type of guy not to cook his steak properly just to spite the French. I almost admire the sheer indignation of the Englishman.
Well, it's despite the internet at this point, to be honest. Like, I'm not going to be bullied into having my steak in the way someone else wants it.
Yeah, there you go. Right, those are the ones that were to you directly, so if you need to head out, you are free to do so, Sargon.
I think I can stick around for a little longer.
Right, that's just like the super chat reading. I swear to God, super chat reading is one of those emblematic things where I understand where some incredibly spoiled streamers start complaining about how hard their life is.
Oh, fuck off. Fuck off.
Sees the question. Fire the answer.
Because it's a lot of reading, and I kind of hate reading.
Boo fucking who? Chat, don't let him get away with this. Send more super chats to own him.
But that's exactly the point. I'm like, I understand that this is nothing to complain about, and yet I'm still just petulantly like, I have to read now. Okay,
Yeah.
you know, I actually saw a good argument about the whole streaming is like a hard job thing a while ago. Some guy made the argument the reason why streaming is the hardest job, I don't know if I'd put it that far,
Yeah, I wouldn't go that far.
is because you can't turn it off. Like when you're doing a normal job, you go do it 9 to 5, you go home and you're done with it. Whereas streaming, you don't do that. You're kind of always thinking about like, what should I do next? What should I cover next? What should I talk about next? What should I
You're always
stream
looking
next?
for content, yeah.
Yeah.
And also, I've got to say, right, like Hassan Piker got himself in trouble for saying this a little while ago, and actually there is something to it. It's not like tiring, like the effort goes into it, right? And you're performing, so when, especially if you're on camera, that for this it's a lot easier because we're not on camera, right? So you don't have to sit up straight, you don't have to look at the camera, you don't have to think about your facial expression or anything like that. So this is a lot easier. But like for someone like Hassan Piker, it's not that it's not work; it is work, And when you have to do it every day for like 8 hours or whatever Hassan Piker does, I can see why it feels like just a job to him. Like and I don't have any reason to be sympathetic to Hassan Piker, but I think there is something to what he's saying there. Sorry.
Yeah,
I
I
appreciate
get
that
the
might not be
argument,
popular.
but I'm still also going to sit here and go like, yeah, no, it is a job. It can
It's
be
a
tough.
great job.
It can be rough
yeah.
and it can be exhausting and stressful,
Guaranteed
but
success.
I'd rather do this than anything else.
Well, yeah, obviously. And Hassan Piker is definitely not doing the hardest job or anything like that.
Yeah,
And
it's
he's certainly
the
not
hardest
doing it
job.
the best either. So that is nonsense. But it is a job and it does come with its own stress.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm just not going to make the argument that I'm somehow better than the oil worker who's standing out there fucking pumping oil in his bare shirt and minus 20 degrees.
yeah, there are people with way more difficult jobs.
Yep. No doubt. Furry cousin, imagine if Nero or Caligula had Twitter.
Well, I mean, there are loads of historical characters I wish had
Fire the
Twitter.
answer.
Like Winston Churchill would have been a demon on Twitter. He would have
Oh,
had
yes.
some amazing witticisms that would have just been absolute bangers.
Yep. God, we should just mandate that all political debate needs to be done on Twitter, because I would love to see, like, Churchill being roasted over Gallipoli.
Yeah,
That'd be great.
the before and after.
Mm-hmm. Walking corpse. I'm just sad we have to look to Democrats like the Don and Elon to represent the conservative side. Like, listen, the conservative side did that to themselves by getting way too fucking conquered by the Christian right. So
Yeah, and it's not just that as well. Like, the conservatives have not really been making the argument right at all well for a long time. Conservatives are very reactive. And it's like, okay, that's all well and good, bro, but there's, you need to be making the argument proactively, and you haven't. We haven't. So are you surprised that the only people who are vocal in our spaces are those people who are ex-Democrats who are now making a positive argument against the left?
Mm-hmm. The conservatives did this to themselves, very much so. And I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing new conservatives come up. I'm quite intrigued by Trump's VP pick. Oh, was it Vance? Vance, yes.
JD Vance, yeah.
Didn't like him. I thought he was a weird pick to begin with. Then I heard him debate, and I'm warming to him. He's got some well, for politics anyways, newish ideas.
Yeah, and he's very good at articulating his ideas.
Yeah,
which is important.
So we might be seeing some new conservatives come up with some new conservative ideas, to the point where the word conservative is probably going to start falling out of fashion eventually.
I mean, there are some good Zoomer conservatives, honestly, who I enjoy. Like John Doyle's a great one. Charlie Downs is a good one. Connor, a bunch of the guys working for me. Like, there are good Zoomer conservatives. They are just, honestly, kind of ignored by the establishment.
Gabriel Martin for 10 runs, but the bridge also has layers. It is perfect. I know, I'm a multi-layered person. Dodd Nago for
bridge podcast.
20,000 Ds with a slash above it and a slash underneath it.
I don't know what that is.
Arson Sargon, hope you guys have a nice day.
Having a wonderful day, thank you.
Even Grozny, thoughts on Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 going woke? I saw screenshots of a black man talking about respecting women. Is this just slop? Too early to tell, in my opinion.
Yeah, I heard that there was an unskippable gay cutscene. Is that correct?
Apparently, yes.
Which is why it's banned in Saudi Arabia.
Yes. And that makes me wonder. That sends the alarms bell ringing, because I'm like, really?
Oh, yeah.
Why is there a gay unskippable sex scene?
Yeah, was that necessary for a game set in 14th century Poland?
Yeah, what part of the grander narrative is served by this?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I have seen that their studio has gotten a little bit more progressive. I've seen that a lot of their influencers have flags in their bio, so we'll see.
Oh, no way. Right, well, I mean, I guess we'll see.
Let's not, burn the chicken before it's done laying the egg. Steel Manning, I am harassing Carl to read Speaker for the Dead.
I have a lot of things that I have to read at the moment, so I can promise nothing, I'm afraid.
The Real Zartax. To be fair, to be fair? You mean niche. Almost everyone know about the Battle of Stamford Bridge. On the other hand, who knows about freaking Lotus Eaters?
Man, I bet if you ask people in the street, more people know about Lotus Eaters than the Battle of Stamford Bridge.
Okay, let's pull those little shits and assume
I'm
they
not even
won't
joking.
be lying
I get recognized in the street all the time.
Of course you do, but you're not Stamford Bridge.
I bet people don't know what Stamford Bridge was. Is there any more?
There's a bowl. There we go.
I'm
going to pull them
controversial take.
so they can Selection about Doppelganger. And if anyone is an expert on CP, it is the Brits.
A lot.
I mean, the Brits are guests, maybe.
Well, yeah. Why would we be experts?
Although I did enjoy Keir Starmer's response that there would be no investigations.
Well, they've reversed that now because there's a massive outcry.
Ah.
And what they've said is, well, what we'll do is just let the local councils do the investigations. It's like what the local councils who covered it up.
Mm.
You can let them mark their own fucking homework, are you? Incredible. The local councils that were often complicit. Oh yeah, I'm sure they're going to do a really fucking in-depth thing, bro.
Dreyfus, just to be a bit conspiratorial, with the Diddy partisans and the Epstein Uslan V-ship, do you think the fires in Hollywood will be used as a cover the disappearance or destruction of evidence? I think that would be pure speculation. I mean, it's Hollywood. I wouldn't be shocked or surprised if some material of a dubious nature went up in smoke, but I don't see any way I can...
Yeah, I don't have any reason to think that was the case.
Yeah.
But that for many of them will be a fortunate side effect.
Let's hope none of them invested in fireproof hard drives.
Well, yeah.
Sadwing's raging on Rumble. Buy my game and get in your box. I don't even know what that means half the time.
I don't know what his game is. What is it?
You ignorant
Did he
son.
name it?
Oh.
I'm happy to shill it. How would I find it?
VAR. So in Germany, we got a new law that allows you to freely change your legal gender and a fine for up to 10k for every time you get dead named.
Oh, that is fucking pathetic.
Enter Sven Leibich, which looks to read like lie bitch. Right winger who just did that to hold up a mirror. Guess who gets dead named by the media?
I have lost. Shit.
Well, I mean, do it. Play them at their own game. Show them why this is ridiculous. Take advantage.
Yep.
Malicious compliance is the only way out of this.
Claro, hyenas were ahead of its time. It could have been Concord way before Concord. It was Concord before Concord. Like they had a open beta and like 200 people played it, and that was the moment the Sega, the top brass, traveled to England just to shout at Creative Assembly.
Just to shit on them.
They literally did. Like people from Sega went to England, had a meeting with them, and
Yeah.
I would want to be a fly in that room. Just some angry Japanese people shouting incoherently in a room full of Brits, whilst pointing stridently at a giant picture of a trans woman firing a gun.
There's a fat transgender, an angry Japanese man pointing at it and shouting like he's in The Last Samurai.
Yes. What the hell is this? There's honorable.
That's so good.
Oh, that'd be wonderful. Mike the Pooh, please check out my AI band, #843. I wrote all the lyrics. The first album is about government corruption, anti-abortion, and zombie hunting.
Okay.
There you go. AI band at 843 chat. Sujard, Waco and Reaveridge, the more you look at, the worse the government looks. Dev is politically brain dead and he's only right when you skew reality. Everyone's so mean to Dev. Reverend Norse. Love these set in frames for your icons, lads. Government judged itself guilty in the Reaveridge case. They shot the dog, son, and mother. All uninvolved.
Oh, Jesus.
Why the dog?
Well, I know, but the American authorities love shooting dogs.
Yeah, like the ATF in particular has a weird thing about shooting animals.
Yeah. We're allowed to shoot this dog, therefore we're just bam. It's like, you don't have to, though.
Yeah.
Oh, look, a golden retriever. It's like, dude.
Or the time they shot a dude's like super rare pet moth, apparently.
It was coming right for me. Was it, bro? Was it really?
Ignorance.
Ryan H. Taking a break from my mental health to focus on X.
I saw that tweet earlier. That was great.
And so on the Lich, Dev's favorite snack, government officials' footwear. Hashtag Dev goes moo.
Man, Dev's respect for the state is deeply suspect and worrying, frankly.
Service guarantee.
Tanushi, the state.
It's honestly it's his main flaw. It's genuinely his main flaw. His other flaw is optics, but his main flaw is thinking the government is full of well-meaning
Service
people.
guarantee citizenship.
Like, Dev, no, it's not. People in government are all evil, Dev. Every one of them, without exception.
Irreversibly so.
Yeah. Yeah. Irredeemably so.
Trevor N. Congrats on the new podcast. Have either of you listened to Jonathan Young's Imperium of Man and Blood Angel song? I have not yet. I want to, because I like Jonathan Young stuff. But I tell you this, if you want more free time, don't do this as employment.
No, I've never even heard of it.
He did the Disney metal covers.
I don't think I've heard of those either.
Really?
Guarantee
Damn.
citizenship.
Good stuff.
But yeah, I bet they are. I mean, don't get me wrong.
Texas Apache. The government went out of their way both times to unalive kids, then took pics as well, in some cases as the bodies were on fire.
Jesus Christ, I hate the government so much. I just...
Refer back to previous point about government being evil.
Yeah. And again, the whole problem with the state is literally the fact that people who are they're given the force of law to be able to rule over society. I mean, literally, like, what kind of person do you think that attracts? You know, like, not the kind of person you actually want doing it.
Dreyfie, steaks and potatoes is fine art, but you also find salt and water too spicy. Listen, I'll salt my potatoes after I peeled them, not before, you tards.
This is literally a Protestant thing. All Protestant countries are the same in this regard. In fact, I think it's a Germanic thing, fundamentally. Like, the Germanic race is not big on spices.
I mean, I'll salt things, and I'll even occasionally indulge in some piffy spice, but
Yeah.
I do not need spices for food to be enjoyable, honestly. And most of the time, if something is heavily spiced or marinated, I like just the basic flavor more, honestly.
Yeah, I'm totally the same. Like, I will literally just salt, you know?
Yeah, that's plenty.
It's totally fine. You know, I want to taste the actual flavor of the meat.
Yeah.
You
Like,
ignorant
there's absolutely
This
an
should be
argument here.
controversial.
When people put too much stuff, and everything is marinated, everything is spiced and salted and fixed up
Yeah.
in all kinds of ways, and they have 7 different rubs,
Yeah.
you can't enjoy decent food anymore at that point. You've killed your taste buds.
Well, this is the point I made. They're literally run through like a prostitute, right? Like a whore has been run through. Like, they can't feel it. You know, the food doesn't even touch the sides of these people, and it's just like, why? What are you doing, guys? You know, it's like, why even bother with the meat? Like, why even bother? Why not just, you know, put it on vegetables or something? I don't know.
Oh, that's what it is. It's the vegan argument.
But what, the meat's expensive, and if you're literally there for the taste of the spices, put the spices on some cheap potatoes. Potatoes like £1 a bag or whatever. You know, don't spend 10 quid on a nice steak and then cover it in fucking spice. What's the point of that?
Yeah. Finally, someone who makes sense.
Yeah. This is a food take I'm going to put on Twitter. I'm sure it'll go down well.
Mercenaries 21, Sargon, Arch, we will take over your country soon. I heard that one. And I hope so, yeah.
Honestly, I could do the First Amendment.
Yeah, no. That would be nice.
Yeah, Britain actually really could use with one of those. I mean, I don't really want to become a state, but again, of all the possible futures, there are worse ones out there.
I would love the Second Amendment because I want to collect all kinds of historical firearms and I just can't.
Oh, nice, yeah.
Like, I already own too many swords for any normal human being. Allow me to collect like World War II guns, my house would be filled.
I mean, oh my god.
A doman, that's right. Lum lum, biscuit and gravy sucks. It does. Tanushi Arch elucidates Sargon on the charms of Cameron here. The MCD patty tastes like recycled cardboard. McDonald's patty, I'm presuming.
McDonald's aren't that bad.
Not that
I don't
bad.
think so anyway. Burger King is better though.
Anti-hero at heart. I loved the video about Melanie today. I'm 43 and everyone who works towards a comeback of 80s, 90s censorship is an enemy. Agreed.
So what's the deal with this Melanie question?
Oh, very Christian person who what was the thing? She declared hot women in video games to be perversion whilst defending Tomb Raider.
Okay.
Service guarantees citizenship.
Why do we care about hot women in video games?
Well, that's the thing. She doesn't, because she is pro Tomb Raider, who wears not a whole lot. So it's just an arbitrary moral position of I am better than you because I don't like this, but I do like this.
But like, there's the woman who slept with 100 guys in a day, walking in the street with her face covered in semen. It's like, do we really hot women in video games are the problem? I mean, and
Is
things
that the concern? Yeah.
From what I know of this Melanie girl, she seems fine. I quite like her, right? You know, I don't watch her stuff because I don't watch anyone's stuff anymore. But like, she seems all right. And is she arguing for censorship, or is she just saying I personally don't like it?
Well, she's arguing from a very, very how do I put it? Slave to religion position. Where it is God who does this. It is God himself who demands that we do this. And then she says that she doesn't want to take it away, but I am very skeptical towards anyone who holds up a Bible and tells me that something should be shameful, and they go like, oh no, I won't take it away from you.
Right. Because there are lots of things that I think are shameful and that you should not do. I'm not saying the state should intervene, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like there are lots of those things. I've got a really fucking long list of things that you absolutely should not do because they're shameful, but I'm not saying there should be a law, you know?
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, I will do the same. But whenever somebody holds up a manuscript of moral authority, I get nervous. It's rarely worked out well.
Yeah.
You ignorant.
Why are you hating? Sargon, please explain why your countrymen are obsessed with beans on toast. Why not jam on toast and beans on the side?
Well, you don't want to mix jam and beans. It'd be sweet and savory. It'd be wrong. Right?
Yeah, it'd be weird.
It'd be a weird taste. But we have jam on toast and beans on toast, just not at the same time.
Yeah. See, I don't even know about the beans, because we do not eat beans in Norway at all. It's like a foreign food.
Well, beans on toast is good, man, because like the beans are just kind of not filler, but they're kind of padding. Because what you're really getting is the crispiness of the toast, and you obviously you put butter on them. So you the beans are hot. You got melted butter, and of course you grate cheese if you're really sophisticated over it. So you got melted cheese on it, and so you've got a filling and nutritious and very tasty meal, and it's really easy to make. Really, really easy.
Empty Veins, both of you really need to start the book series Galaxy's Edge, military sci-fi with humanity fuck yeah feel to it. I want to watch a video of you guys reviewing the books.
I've never heard of them.
Too much to read already, unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm currently going through Gramsci's prison notebooks. I just don't have time to like start reading things for fun.
Not Alfarius. Back in high school health class, we watched the documentary Debunking Supersize Me called Fathead. After we watched Supersize Me, it shows Morgan Spurlock was full of crap.
Yeah, he totally was. And he was a raging alcoholic. I was on the Wikipedia page. It's like, yeah, well, you know, he was a raging alcoholic at the time. And it's like, right, well, that explains a lot.
Yep.
My liver's failing. It must be the McDonald's. It must be the burgers. And it's like, obviously it's you.
Stephen Morris, look up Trex Labs on those horrible instances. Damn censorship. Yes, censorship bad.
Yes.
Philip Lewis. Kickseer or Dank should have a video about events. Never thought I'd see people who shape my political and philosophical development in one podcast. Major respect for the thinkers of the free peoples. Overlord raising hell. I feel as if we're giving slightly more credit.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate the kind words.
Yep. I appreciate it too, but don't inflate my ego too much, I guess.
Yeah, we're doing our best.
Empty Vein. Speaking of food, I switched to a strict keto diet, carnivore, and went from 284 pounds to 184 pounds in 10 months. Congratulations.
Amazing. Yeah, amazing.
Marked Ashamed. GW brought Kadia back. I hope you're fucking kidding me. As much as I kind of would like to see that, I also want GW to at least stick by it when they blow up a planet.
Just the thing is, I hate this. This is the Negan problem, right? Which is, oh, this was a cool thing, and everyone enjoyed it. Oh, how do we recapture it? It's like, oh, we'll bring no, it's gone, it's done. You've done it. Like, let it go. You have to do something else now. It's like, but we've got no ideas. That's not my problem.
Mercenaries 21. All fast food places served plastic, not beef. Brandon, Sargon, I want to ask what you and Lotus Eaters... I really should mark these with a little heart thingy. Diego Flores, remember warp fuckery is the explanation for everything. Yes, warp fuckery is the explanation for most things. Coroner, the time skip was 12 years. It was a lot more than that. The Indomitus Crusade, I'll read up on it, but it's a lot more than 12 years, surely. And to this, did you guys see the research about cancer cells are feeding only on glutamine?
What's that?
Glutamine. I have no idea what that is about. Glutamine is an amino acid that is used in biosynthesis of proteins. The glutamic acid. Right, I am not going to be able to educate myself on this in the next 5 minutes, I'm afraid.
Yeah. Sorry, I don't know anything about it.
Antihero, I'm German and somehow haven't been educated about Weimar degeneracy at school, most likely
Really?
by mistake. Are there any sources you could recommend to enlighten me about this fascinating topic? No, that's the problem. This is a period of history that has been wiped from the fucking earth.
Well, actually, this year on loadseaters.com, we may have some extremely long and possibly unnecessarily detailed documentaries coming out on such things. Harry took it upon himself to get a stack of books on it because actually a bunch of leftists are very proud of the Weimar Republic and they write about it, what happened in glowing terms. It's just like, well, if you're not a leftist, you realize that, oh God, this is horrific. And so, yeah, like later on this year, something will be coming, I guarantee. And it's shocking. It's just genuinely like, holy fuck, really?
The only good sources I found, so that would be really nice to see actually.
Oh yeah,
was largely contemporary sources from tourists and stuff.
Yeah,
where I remember one was from a French tourist who described Berlin is the only place on Earth where, and God help me, YouTube, this is where you can enjoy the dexterous fingers of a very young person whilst being kissed by a toothless hag.
Jesus.
Yeah, trust me.
I flicked through some of the books Harry got, and it's just awful. It's just like, okay, I'm not saying anything in World War II is justified. What I'm saying is this should never have fucking happened.
Yeah. The problem with Weimar Germany is, like I said in my video on why we should defend porn from censorship, is the reason why Weimar Germany is largely been wiped out of the history books is because it makes the Nazis look really fucking good.
It shows, not even that it makes them look good, it shows that something had to change.
Yes. That's the thing. I'm not defending anything they did afterwards.
No, obviously.
But Weimar Germany is so much worse than you can imagine.
Yeah.
That's the only way it can be put.
Genuinely like, and most of it was in
Nerds
Berlin
a
as
lot.
well. Like
Yeah.
most of it was centered in Berlin. But yeah,
Complete
just-
breakdown of the social order.
Yeah, totally, and like in crazy ways. This is, like, again, you can't even really say it on YouTube.
Yeah. And unironically, like, if you try to describe the shit that went down there, you're not going to have a channel.
Yeah, you can't really describe on YouTube what happened, right? But it's just unfucking believable, and just the worst things, just the worst, most perverse things
Yes.
that you could imagine. And so it's just like, yeah, okay, no, this is not on,
Yeah. And that is why it's covered up so much, because the moment you start reading about Weimar Germany, you instantly understand everything that happened thereafter politically in Germany.
Yeah, that is true.
Empty Veins, Sargon, Where's My Islander, issue 2, read that one. Steel Manning Dankula did a video on Ruby Ridge.
I haven't seen it.
We're planning to do guests on this stream after a while, and I shall shamelessly take advantage of Sargon's greater name recognition.
I'm more than happy to get Dank on. I'm sure I can ask him.
Yep. To tease people on. Like Asmongold won't take my phone call, but maybe if I add in Sargon's name.
Well, I've never spoken to Asmongold.
Yeah, but he's probably heard of you.
Well, he does follow me on Twitter.
Yeah, he's full of me's too, honestly.
Well, there we
What's
go.
that?
You can DM him. I'd love to have Asmongold on. Like I say, I actually do like Asmongold.
Yeah, but see, I am nobody. You're my titillizing
gateway to-
appetizer.
Right, okay, let's see.
Yeah.
Let's see what
Doman,
this is.
the Tea and Pastry podcast. Honestly, if anything, this podcast should be named after food. It would be like overdone steak and unsalted potatoes.
I mean, you've got to salt the potatoes. Come on, they're good.
Not when they're in the water, no.
Why not?
Well, because I peel them afterwards, and all the salt will be on the fucking peels.
Fair point.
Hmm.
Like, I tell you, one thing that, like, there are so many people around the world who don't understand the genuine magic of a baked potato covered in butter.
Well, definitely.
I mean, like, seriously, that, for me, that is heaven. Absolute heaven. Like, just, well, it's salted butter, baked potato, smother it on, and then just that on its own. I'm a simple man.
Diego Flores, Albion cast. Many layers in that one, and if the Brits doesn't accept it, he's not a Brit.
Was that Albion cast?
Yeah. It's not enough Norse in it.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's not fair on you.
Yeah. Mohawk Crusader, name it North Sea Connection or something. Yeah, but now people will think that we're like a fishing channel or something. The North Sea podcast. What did they talk about? Weimar Republic.
Eventually, when YouTube deplatforms us, we're going to need a change of career.
Fire is the answer.
Jonathan Smith. Love you two together. Unfortunately, watching... I don't know that one. I need to mark this. Boycott Worm Plus. Gamergate 3. The sequel.
Is Gamergate 3 happening?
Not yet, but I'm sure we'll get there.
Heresy's the question. Fire is
Maybe.
the answer.
I mean, I feel like Gamergate 3 was Trump winning, right?
Yeah, probably.
Like, the victory has been had, I think. I feel like we've won and that they've lost and they can shut up forever. Do you not feel that way?
If only it'd be that easy.
I feel that that's happened.
But at the very least, heading in the direction of winning. The question is if we can solidify it.
I think, like, on a cultural level, the left have been totally blown out at this point. I don't see them winning anything in the near future.
Joseph Stalin, hey Arch, and Carl, long-time fan and super excited for this new show. Today is my 1-month wedding anniversary. I was originally nervous about getting married, but it's the best decision I've ever made. Great.
Congratulations. I hope it works. I hope everything goes great.
Chronosol, podcast name Warped Reality. If anything, my reality is the right one.
Yeah, I think we're far too sensible.
Yeah.
Everyone else is wrong.
Boycott Warhammer Plus, podcast of the tea drinkers. Potted cast, for sure.
Do you drink tea?
No, it's disgusting.
Oh, well, there we go. We can't have a podcast now. How dare you? See, this is what happens when the Norse don't have an empire. They get salty. And they're like, well, I can't enjoy good things.
That's true. And Black Plague took away our opportunity to become an empire.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's such a cope. We had fucking Black Plague too.
Yeah. There were fewer of us. They killed like the few there were. Karakan, love seeing you guys doing podcasts together. My vote for Skaven RP. Continue campaign. Oh, God. Organizing the RP would be nightmarish.
Yeah. It's too much going on at the moment.
Hexy, this is why I hate the Fallout TV show. They threw out all the world building. Nothing matters. It's all gone. The NCR got nuked. Well, that is the modern day entertainment, isn't it? Like, oh, you liked this thing? Oh, well, it's gone now.
I unpopular opinion, but I actually enjoyed the Fallout TV show.
I enjoyed parts of it.
I appreciate there are lore issues with it, but how to say, like,
Heresy is the question.
sometimes it's okay to make sacrifices about purity for the sake of a good story, right? That's how I feel. And especially when you're playing to an audience of normies, it's like, yeah, okay,
Heresy is
fine,
the question.
I
Fire
can
is the
compromise.
answer.
And generally, the story and the way it was told was better than expected. Like, I just expected some shit, total slop that was just not entertaining in any way. And if you just overlook the lore, then it's not badly done. I mean, the Brothers of Steel was a bit shit, but like overall, it was pretty good, I thought.
If they'd taken out the entire Brotherhood of Steel quest line was terrible.
Yeah.
Focused
Agreed.
more on main chick and her adventures, that would have been better.
The Ghoul and her
Yeah.
were very good. And the thing is, the Brotherhood of Steel could have been done well, but it was done shit.
Yep.
And it's just like, oh, okay, but that could have been done well.
Lumi Angler, also known as Lum Lum. If someone makes a Fallout game 5 to 10 years after the bomb, people would just say, oh, modern day California. I lived through this already.
That's true.
And, well, I mean, yeah, after the fires, literally.
Yeah.
Not all fairness, there was a Fallout game that took place only 25 years after the bombs fell. Unfortunately, that game was Fallout 76. Not a very good game. Apparently it has gotten better, but I am not bothered.
I haven't even thought to look. But this is the thing, though, isn't it? Like, I hate, like, the modern design
Heresy is the
philosophy
question.
of just,
Fire
oh,
is
we'll
the
just
answer.
fix it and patch it. And it's like, look, bro, just make it good from the start. Stop cutting corners.
Steel Manning, this era of entertainment is all simulacrum.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's true. That is a good way of describing it too.
Brandon, if I didn't know they'd fuck it up, I want them to make a movie about the Court of Owls. The Court is such criminally underused villains. From Batman. Yeah, I like those.
Owls?
A Batman villain of a super secret Illuminati-style society running Gotham.
Oh, right, I've never even heard of it. I'm not a...
They're not used much, but they are kind of cool.
Right, okay.
Jeb Reggie, in contrast to your comments, some of the most slop games are story games. Also, most gamers think that any sort of game with good graphics has a good story.
Well, yeah.
Grammatron 3000, disagree on the music being bad. The music on the radio, yes, but it's a great time for your exact niche tastes. Maybe. I have never been a music aficionado. I'm tone deaf completely. Like, I can unironically listen to Avril Lavigne and be happy.
I'm more discerning with my music taste, but I'm not really interested in music.
Jeb Reggie, all devs are bad. Winky face. Marksman17B, we need Lum Lum here to stare at Sargon. The Dodge UK, UI is hard. Work, spreadsheet, Windows 11. It's bloody hard to do. No one. Musicians and bands simply no longer need to be on the radio. There's still tons of great new music. You know, there probably is. I bet there's actually a bunch of like great like music YouTube channels out there.
There probably are, but how would I ever hear about them?
Exactly. No one. Powerwolf is not on the radio, but fills entire stadiums playing live. I feel like music might actually be heading towards a golden age at that point, though, where all of us normies just are completely unaware about their existence of these things.
Maybe, yeah.
Thumb Ugly. Minecraft disproves the inventory UI argument.
Shit.
Never played Minecraft.
Yeah, you know, I've never played Minecraft either.
Counter-Structure. As one liking Excel disguised as games, just EXL. Realty Backhand. The perfect pasta sauce does exist. It's made by my Italian mother. Anyone says otherwise should lock your doors at night. Fair enough.
Wow. So, hang on. Just a quick breaking news. Trump has appointed Mel Gibson, John Voight, and Sylvester Stallone as special ambassadors to Hollywood.
What?
What does that mean? Like, what is a special ambassador to Hollywood? Like, I love the way he's treating Hollywood like it's a foreign country.
Yeah, this is real. LA Times. Sermon names John Voight, Sylvester Stallone, Mel Gibson, special ambassadors to Hollywood.
What does that mean?
Trump said the three actors will be his special envoys and report back to him on the ground knowledge of the industry to bring Hollywood back bigger, better, and stronger than ever before.
Okay, that's very interesting. I don't know.
I mean, okay, if you just want to return to like the golden age of Hollywood, not
Sure.
bad picks. Sylvester Stallone, I dig him.
Yeah.
Mel
Yeah.
Gibson, totally.
Yep, done
John-
amazing films. Amazing
John
films.
Voight?
Look,
I fucking. Who are you?
I don't know who he is, but like, you know, there's some great stuff there. Elon Musk has apparently just landed another rocket in that graspy thing.
That graspy thing, yeah.
That's great. Again, you know, someone's doing something impressive. Elon, your gamer numbers aren't that important, mate.
Yep, that's fine. It's fine if you're not the world's top Path of Exile player.
Yeah, it's totally normal. it's 100% acceptable.
And as much as I love Asmongold, you do not have to argue with a man who lives in a rat trap, Elon.
Yeah. As much as I like Asmongold, he does have a problem cleaning his house. So
He did do a recent little clean though, where he
I was very proud of him actually.
Yep, he moved out some of the worst.
I know. I don't watch his streams because I don't have time, but obviously I follow him on Twitter and I see all the talk around him. And I do like Asmongold. And like I saw that he cleaned up his house. I was like, oh, well done, that lad. Good on you. You know, let's get a bit of order around here, mate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, reusable rockets, man. That is incredible.
Yeah.
Like, come on, Elon. You don't need to worry about the game stuff.
Lieutenant Noggs, love to see Arch and Sargon. Arch, was your opinion on the
have lost.
better Sweden and Swedish people? Plus Sargon is the best Brit. Opinion on the better Sweden and the Swedish people?
What?
I don't know what that refers to.
Yeah,
I do know there was a
what is the
recent
better
documentary.
Fire is the answer.
Oh, is that?
I don't know. There was a recent Swedish documentary which showed the first Swedes to be black.
Well, I mean, the thing is, everyone has had one of those, right? Everyone has had one of those where, like, oh, you know, the government's making, oh, like, you know, the first settlers of Europe, they're black. Oh, everyone's African now, bro. It's totally normal. It's like, is this totally normal, though?
There was also, yes, there it is. The brilliant Black British History book.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That one was something too.
Yep.
Yeah, no, this is just one of those things now where we are trying to rewrite history. And it would be laughable if it weren't for the fact that it is such a huge and orchestrated and continuous campaign. Like, we talked about Weimar Germany and how nobody knows about it. If this continues for long enough, well, this is reality.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, we can't really talk about the agenda that's being promoted here either. But, like, why would you ever tell a people that, in fact, some other foreign group are entitled to their lands? Why would you ever do that?
Why would you do such a strange thing?
Yeah, like, the question needs answering, essentially, and we can never really answer it on YouTube for reasons.
Yep. So I don't know about the Better Sweden project, but if it has to do with more Swedes in Sweden, then I'm probably in favor of it.
Yeah, but quote-unquote Swedes, probably.
Yes. Quote-unquote.
Quote-unquote Swedish people.
Uh,
Our Viking ancestors.
oh, God, that fucking commercial.
Yeah, but that's literally what this boils down to. That's literally what it is.
God, that fucking commercial.
Our Viking ancestors, Arch.
Almost doom. I think people, at least in AAA gaming, they are out of ideas. I mean, look how big Tarkov got. Even today, it still has a massive player count because it was original. This is an ongoing issue in AAA, the lack of originality. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, totally true.
Like, you don't need to tell me about this. I grew up during the 2000s where, like, every game was doing something different.
Yeah, man, like, from about, like, probably about 1990 onwards, there was this amazing, until literally the mid-2000s, there was this amazing straight run of interesting games. Like, every generation had interesting games coming out. And, like, it was, like, you used to be excited for, like, new games releases. So, like, when I was a kid, and you probably had the same, you get, like, PC Gamer magazine, and it'd have a disc on the front where you get to play, like, the first level of a new game that was coming out. And it was exciting because these games were interesting and new and different.
Yep. There was always something cool and new.
Yep. And it might not have been to your taste, blah, 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 but at least it wasn't just the same.
Steve Pierce, I'm in the industry. He's lying out of his arse and blaming the audience to feed as copium to shareholders. All this is reported and ignored. Or one-duded? Yeah, I don't believe his complaints about there not being any feedback to developers, because I've been producing that feedback for much of my life and career.
Yeah, or the feedback not being specific enough or whatever. It's like, no, we've been fucking specific. You just don't want to hear it. We know you don't want to hear it, so... And if you did, you'd literally tweet us, hey, Arch, Sargon, can I have a chat about, like, video game development? I want some ideas from you.
Yep.
And we'd give it for free.
You know, I had salted this video away in case we got through that one too quickly. I need not have feared. We might save this one for next week because I am loving the look of this one.
Some other people will also address.
What is it?
You've got a man wearing a mask and painted nails.
Oh, yeah.
And a massive them talking about how rebellion is inevitable and that 40k is a study in that.
What, rebellion in the universe or
No.
rebellion by the fans?
Ours. 40k is basically a communist revolutionary fantasy.
Is it?
Yep.
Where's the communist revolution?
That is a question that we will answer next week.
Oh, I guess we'll answer next week. Yeah, that's fine.
It's a nice teaser.
Yeah, okay.
Walking Corpse. Anyone ever played Dark Wizard on Sega CD? Love that game. I can't say I have.
No, I've never heard of it.
Niche XCC 1900. I only play games with big anime double Ds. There you go.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough. Like, I'm sure that, I don't object to a constituency of people who are enjoying that. Now, I don't want to intervene, but like, I never looked for that in games. I always look for like strategy. Like, generally, I basically don't want to play games with women in them. You know?
Lumi Angler, Faith, the Unholy Trinity is a beautiful game, even with as low details as it is with the main gameplay, but better details for certain parts are just as gorgeous. Nogard Codesmith, how much for a full G or P route Undertale stream? I don't even know what that means.
Yeah, I don't either.
Heresy's the question.
Ballcraft for 20, never forget, Sargon eats burnt steak.
Yeah, very proudly.
Proudly so.
Yeah. The thing is, the thing is, my steak is not even burnt. That's the thing. People would be thrilled if it was like seared on the outside, but it's not. It's just well cooked.
Seals come? Will the furries become a new ethnic group? Give it long enough, and probably. Frog Jupiter, have you seen John Doyle's recent video on his Twitter beef with Vivek be bringing up an important question on American identity? I have not.
I haven't watched it yet, but I do like John Doyle's content. It is good.
Aurelius or Phoenix, thanks Sargon. Big fan for a while. Changed the mind of an Irish American. I want to. I need to mark these. Frog Jupiter, Arch, since Norway is so close to Denmark, will he move to Greenland to get automatic US citizenship when we buy it?
Ooh. That's...
I'd consider it.
So, Arch, a quick thing on that. What do you think of America buying Greenland?
I think Trump did exactly what Trump does, and he got exactly what he wanted, because now Denmark is like, hey, America, maybe we could collaborate on drilling. Wow.
Oh, really? Oh, really? So I don't even need to buy Denmark to get you to do what I want.
No, like, but... I love how the EU thinks they're so much smarter than Trump in America, right?
Yeah.
They're like, oh my god, he's such a buffoon. Like, we're so much clever and educated. And then he goes like, I'm gonna buy Greenland. And a few weeks later, Denmark's like, oh, we're open to cooperate with America on drilling and exploitation of our resources.
Yeah, because the Greenlanders were totally in favor. It's like, oh, okay. Like, they hate the fucking Danes because of, colonial oppression or whatever.
Yeah, and like that's what he wanted. He doesn't give a fuck about whose flag is flying there. In fact, Denmark, if you are willing to continue to pay the $500 million a year required to maintain the civilian populace, and America still gets to drill there.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
And ironically, Trump keeps winning.
Like, there was all this talk before the election about how the EU had so many plans to deal with Trump. And I said then, as I say now, their plan is to bend over and take it.
Yeah, no, it totally is. Again, like, they can claim that they're so much fucking smarter, but Trump keeps winning and they don't.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
He comes out with a tall order, ridiculous statement that gets Denmark freaking out and surrendering to his actual demands before he's even made them.
And this has been Trump's playbook forever. Mm-hmm. He literally lays it out in The Art of the Deal, but of course they didn't read it, because why would they read something written by Trump, right?
Yeah,
but he literally... Yeah, exactly. Oh, he's just a moron. How would he know anything? Well, he keeps getting the better of you, so, just saying. Yep.
And the thing is, too, like, I said this on Twitter as well. America doesn't want Greenland. It's going to cost you $500 million a year to maintain the Greenland population at a higher living standard than the average American.
Yeah.
You don't want that. But if you can get all of the drilling concessions for free, why the fuck not?
Well, thank you very much, Denmark.
Zeluxan Doppelganger, surpassing the human condition is the goal. That is one thing, like, okay, there is certain promises in medical technology where we are probably, like, within a century of curing death. Like, one of the big things we have left is, like, cancer and figuring out how to grow, like, replacement parts.
Yeah.
Once we do, like, people aren't going to die from just diseases anymore, or even, like, attrition necessarily.
Yeah, but have you considered what the state of a person who's 200 years old is going to look like?
Well, I think I know. It's basically going to be an incredibly old, jaded, perverted shit.
Yeah, I mean, but like, look at Madonna, right? Like, Madonna has done everything she can to look young, but you know that she smells wrong. You know, there's no doubt that she smells like an old lady who, you know, this kind of, you know, the old. It's like, okay, yeah, look, I can physically stop this part of my body from falling off, but there's still going to be like the inherent cell degradation of being ancient that I can't deal with and won't deal with, and so it'll be weird and unnatural, and honestly, it'll be undignified and cringe.
And the thing is, too, like, I think if people started living forever, and it will only be available to the really rich in all due likelihood, you're just going to turn into a fucking monster after a while, I think.
Yeah, I think so. I think you'll be demented, and people will not like old people. And the thing is, like, okay, just because you live forever doesn't mean you're going to look good. Like, I genuinely think you'll end up looking like a fucking hideous wreck, and everyone will know it.
Very possibly. Steel Manning, you should watch Pilgrim's Pass on neo-feudalism.
I
Maybe.
haven't seen it.
The real Zartax, if the choice is between Mustache Man and whatever the progressives are progressing towards, I'm going with the Mustache Man. You better make a viable alternative if you don't want that.
Yeah, I mean, just a viable alternative is being normal. We could do that.
We could do that. We have that as an alternative.
Yeah. Yeah, that literally was the alternative for decades. Right up until around 2013.
Alexander Cross, pineapples are a better way to do pizza than that.
See,
No.
Again, hot take, I like pineapple pizza.
That is a hot take indeed.
I know. You know what I saw the other day is Peter Boghossian, the philosopher. He was saying how he dropped a banana on salt and was just like, I can't be asked to clean it. And then it started eating it, and he was like, oh, this is amazing. And since then, I've been bothered because we haven't got any bananas in. And my wife usually gets bananas with the shop, and they just didn't come last time. So I've yet to try bananas with salt. But I'm titillated by the idea. What do salted bananas look like? They might be good. I don't know. You know, you don't know. Somehow, mankind has never tried a salted banana, but I'm curious.
LG, Warhammer 2C, I just reached full climax. Happy to see you talking, and I'm holding a Sargon pillow.
Wonderful.
Fantastic. Kyle Caesar, hey Lord, Arch and Sargon, hope you are both well. Steak must still be mooing, or else is wrong.
Again, I'm past this guy. I'm too old and I have too many children to worry about these kind of like collective vanities. Like it's San Francisco homosexuals who care about that. I don't care about that.
Marksman, Sargon and Arch, are either of you aware of an old sci-fi series about 32,000-ton AI super tank called Bolos? I think I found when Warhammer drew inspiration for their Titans and Tanks is an anthology series I think you guys might enjoy. I have never heard about that, no.
No, I don't know what you're talking about. Sorry. I'm sure it's cool, though.
Tex Apache, I think you missed my chat about how the government unalive kids then took
I have
pics
lost.
as trophies. Happens in Waco, may have happened at Rubridge. I did get to it, it's just... It's at the end of a very long list. See, I understand the chat's complaint that we should read chats like whilst they come in to like keep it fresh, but at the same time, like if I did that, that'd be all we do.
Yeah.
The entire stream would just be us reading super chats.
But don't worry, I'm already against the government, so you don't need to persuade me.
Mr. Personality for 20, thank you. I shared some steak in the food channel. Where's the calendar channel? Followers of the Apocalypse. I'll probably make like a proper one eventually. I released the first one on the communities page and Twitter just yesterday.
Right, I am going to have to go, I'm afraid.
All right. Thank
But,
you. For
hopefully
hanging
next
out.
week we can keep it to about 2 hours, because I will need to stop at some point.
Yes, we were going to aim at keeping it to them 2 hours, but the volume of super chats, so might have to be done afterwards. I'll prioritize the ones for Sargon, and I'll wrap up the rest of myself.
Excellent. Right, well, thank you for joining us, folks, and I will see you next week.
Awesome. See you then, Sargon. Have a good day.
See ya.
There. And sadly, we can't just grab Lum Lum and pull her in her chat. That's not how that works. Otherwise, I could give her the glorious duty of reading the rest of the Superchats. That would be the ideal solution to this. Sargon, I cast Prestidigitation with an intent to clean a sacrifice. Pure silver 2 power. The spell do it as DM. What happens? Well, you were 2 seconds too late. 2 fucking seconds too late. Well, 11. Archer Sargon, please do mukbang stream. You want to pay me to watch me eat potatoes? I could do that. It'd be just me and, like, French fries and the steak. That'd be it. That'd be your mukbang stream. I feel like you would be disappointed, but who knows? So on the Lich, come on Barty, end the stream to recharge your social batteries. Use Dev's Bad Dragon to ram the batteries. Again, I am open to a Bad Dragon sponsorship. You know, I'm repeating that just in case somebody out there is watching. But I would not use it. I would be asking them for the t-shirts and the coloring books because that shit's just funny. Weird. Sargon, why don't characters pick up professions? A wizard with painting skill makes paint from monster parts and use them to make scrolls. Again, just touch. For Jupiter, how much is unrendered beef fat sweat in the UK per pound? In Texas, it's £1 and £5 sweat. You think I buy fucking unrendered beef fat in the UK, much less? Or no way, I don't even think we sell unrendered beef fat. I'm pretty sure it's unhygienic or something. Deans, the right didn't get subverted by the Christian right, they got subverted by the neocons, aka the liberal Trotskyists of the new left. Well, a little bit on both. Balkeith becomes a member, thank you. Noel Farias, when I hear Kingdom Come Delivered soon will be more diverse, my assumption is that means more Germans and Poles and such, considering Gutenberg is a large city, and IRC a rival to Prague in terms of importance in that era. That's what I'm hoping it means too. Ben, although it should be said that the Christian right was almost 100% about what the left really were deep down, leftists even worse now. Also Enclave. Enclave. I shall note that down as well. Enclave. The current mood. Tell Sargon to work on that postmodern traditionalism book. I think he mentioned actually that was he working on his book. I don't know how long it's gone. I need money for my rent. I gave him a cheap option to pay me. Cheap option? Okay, Lum Lum's cheap option was $500 a week or something. Lum Lum. For that price, I expect significantly more services than verbal ones, okay? That's a fairly high-class prostitute you're pricing yourself as there, Lum Lum. God damn it. Shaul Kramer, hey Carl, will you, someone from Los Angeles, be attending JBP's next arc? Will they opening to advocate for true conservative revival? Arc? JBP? I don't know these words. Sargon might have. I did not. Ben, edit 100% correct about the leftists' true nature. Matthew Hammond, I will be enjoying Nintendo games on the Switch 2 releasing later this year. Nintendo avoided the Western studio malaise by not firing staff to meet quarterly profits, and that executive-made games. Listen, Lum Lum, you're going to start editing videos for me and doing voice recordings for that kind of payment. Greedy, Lum Lum. Greedy. Editing videos, picking up my mail, making my fucking food. It's the least I would expect. Deans, that moth tried to eat the ATF officer's uniform. Well, fucking self-defense in that case. Marksman on Streamlabs. The anthologies for the Bolos have been collected into a couple books. I recommend The Complete Bolo by Keith Laumer or Bolo, Annals of the Dinochrome Brigade. Also by Keith Laumer, the creator of the series. Hope you enjoy, and I enjoyed the stream. Good to hear. GM, please watch. Aka 13 is not gay, but a mature, intriguing mystery anime with a deep, captivating storyline, beautiful art style, and no over-the-top sexual fan service. I don't want to spoil it. It's so enjoyable, you'll love it. I I think I have. That name rings a bell that makes me think that I might have seen it. Sujad, the culmination of the malice incompetence of the ATF was them taking pictures of themselves with the burnt corpses of their victims. Shaman McLamy, back in 2017, I was talking to a German about Brexit, and she hoped Brexit would utterly fail and ruin Britain. In her mind, Brexit had to be a failure. Well, yeah, it works against the great project of the EU. Not all fair, yes. Ideally, spicy stuff should be in addition to something else. I prefer mango habanero wings over buffalo. A nice mix of sweet and spicy, where you still get all that flavor, but you get the kicks too. Why hating? At the end of... Why did you scroll? You piece of shit website. Why did you scroll on me, YouTube? I hate you. 63% think Loaded Seed is more recognizable as Stamford Bridge. Oh, shit. At the end of the meeting, I pictured Sega having a sumo wrestler walk in, fold up the boardroom table, and walk out. Yep. So, Jard, if you want to easily improve your steak, tenderize it by letting it rest with a pot or jug full of water. Else makes it more tender. That sounds like too much effort. Josh Leak, how do you feel about Islam becoming the fastest growing religion in Japan? It just seems to be growing everywhere but China nowadays. I think the Japanese need to start taking back their country like everybody else needs to do. Marksman 117B, Arch World War II artillery pieces are legal here. I know, and I am jelly. Deans, Sargon, you should read Gramsci's speech to the Italian Parliament, May 16th, 1925, where he argues that violence is progressive and represents the will of the people. It was a debate between him and Mussolini, and Mussolini apparently took him up on that. So, did Harry get any literature on the failed Jewish Socialist Revolution of 1999? Sargon, have you ever tried the game Star Sector? It's really good. I do need to remember to play Star Sector at some point. Coroner, DW retconned it from 100 to 12 years. Really? The fuck? Reverend Norse, Arch, tell Sargon of the duck's tail from Weimar. Oh, he knows it. He knows it. Ben, Germany can't be trusted to run things at a high level. Correct. Dreyfy, that's true. Anytime I heard about Weimar Republic faults, it's usually things like economic, political violence, and loss of status. But I never really heard the extent to which morality and shame just went right out of the window. You know, the social poison was what destroyed Weimar Germany, no doubt about it. Deans, the overthrow of the monarchy in Germany was our greatest political mistake. Winston Churchill. Yes, it was. Colorado woke barely made it into law before it took so much from us. Bible thumpers can do a lot of damage before law gets involved. Potentially, yeah. Ben, Sargon, whatever happened to Lacey Green? She became an OnlyFans girl. I'm kidding, I don't actually know. I'm just assuming. She's got the rack for it. Ismail Thompson, Starch on cast. I do like Starch, though. Sean B. On the topic of Weimar, it is worth viewing the documentary Berlin Metropolis of Vice from the legendary Sin City series. Can be found for free. That does sound good, yeah. You're saying hippie saying lore issues? Oh, you mean the master would have looted the vault so he can turn them into super mutants? Probably would have. Mr. Sergeant 100, greetings, gentlemen. Welcome to 2025, home of wildfires, political upheaval, logistical nightmares, and a whole lot of nonsensical bullshit. Nice to know something never changes, isn't it? It's calming, you know. Mr. Frenzy, happy to see you and Sargon streaming in Arch. Going forward, I'll be using this podcast as an excuse to get back into painting. I'm currently painting an orc army whilst listening to you two talk. Good. Productive. Steel Manning, maybe it means Callie has to go through Mel or Rambo to talk to Trump. That'd be funny. Dax T. Crowley just came to say hi and hope my art didn't curse too much. That is the creator, by the way, of the recent Mrs. Grave art piece on Twitter and in the community section. It's not cursed at all. It's pretty vanilla, honestly. It's a little bit of cuckolding, mother and son cuckolding. I see nothing wrong with this. Pretty basic, in my opinion. Skullmuncher, on Reddit, there are some users who still post about Coof, even in 2025. Coof is basically over for 99% of society. Be sure to keep beating a dead horse. While 11, Trump should try to buy Cyprus next. Gas deposits. WTF1A1, if you guys make a game, can it be something like Total War Arena? I miss playing the MMO RTS when it was on Wargaming's platform. We are actually making a game, but that is still a little bit secret. So, Jard, a salt banana, is that what the amazing atheist did to that banana? Star Sector. Michael 11, Aka 13 is awesome, about a coup, but not really. And Tater's mukbang funding goal with others on stream. What? We could have Lum Lum eat like 11 pounds of potato chips, that'd be kind of funny. Ooh, Lum Lum lives in America. We could have her go and do one of those, one of those eating challenges over there. Yeah. Yeah, like this, but with Lum Lum. Yeah. Yeah. That would work just perfectly, in my opinion. Also, we are working on the commission for the Lum Lum icon as well. Here's a small teaser. A very, very predictable small teaser, I admit, but a teaser nevertheless. Gloman, do you guys know if submitting a hypothesis to a university can get you a scholarship? Also, is there a way to make sure people don't just take it? Seems common in universities sometimes. I do not know now. Peasant thoughts. Did Sargon hear Dev defending the feds killing the Freebie family and making excuses for the feds, saying the feds' actions were justified? He did not, no, sadly. And lastly, Calorel. To discover new good music, use recommendation engines. Rate your music. If you want to be a nerd about it, Last FM. If you want a fictionless experience, Spotify Discover for Maximum Normie. There you go. That was a lot of super chats. Thank you very much. Your generosity is, as always, overwhelming. But now I have trouble breathing. We'll enter into negotiations again, Lum Lum. I'll pay you $5 and I'll show less of your feet pics on stream. Sound good? Less, mind you. That does not mean a complete stop, but less. Here, chat. I'll zoom in on those little tootsies for you. There you go. Look at that. I even told them that Lum Lum was really into feet, so they should put a little bit of extra effort into the feet part. And look at that. You've got the little like median lines there going down. Yeah, you've got some nice shading, and she's got just a slight reddish sheen to her tootsies. Like they paid attention to this bit. You know, little reddening around the heel there, little tootsie pootsies. Each tootsie is lovingly rendered. Yeah. They put a lot of effort into this particular Lum Lum art piece. I was thinking of just drawing just Lum Lum's feet for a bit, but I figured that might be a little bit too disappointing for some, so there will be more to this art piece. But, $500 a month and I will stop whining about the feet. That's the opposite of what I want you to do, Lum Lum. $10 and you complain more about feet. There you go. Yeah, no, I do agree. Her ankle is a little bit of an angle there, admittedly, but, you know, it's not that bad. It's fine. It's fine. Besides, Lum Lum would happily snap her own ankles if it allowed her to take a better foot pick. A better foot pick, yes. So, I think this is canonically correct, honestly. I don't see any real reason to complain about this at all. I think it's pretty much dead on. Dead on, as they would say, yes. God, where did I put my screen now? That's a good question. Ah, there it is. Right, chat. We are finished. That was episode 1 of Arch and Sargon. I'm going to sneak Stamford Bridge in there next time, because screw Sargon and his naming sense. He named his channel Lotus Eaters. God damn it, he has no leg to stand on here. Oh my god. I wonder if you heard that. Until next time, chat. Oh, you didn't hear that. It didn't register in the thing. Oh, that was just my headset speaking to me. Okay, well, that's good. I think that's good. Until next time, chat, thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you all again very, very soon. Have a good day, chat.